That Sedano at ESPN LA sent you. Children's Dental Fun Zone. Sparkling smiles. Happy kids.
Hey, it's Travis. Every legend has a story, and those stories are kept at Legends Attic in Claremont. Legends Attic is the premier sports memorabilia gallery and store that offers a unique blend of rare and iconic collectibles. It's a community for sports fans and collectors, so go check it out for yourself. Legends Attic, 619 West Foothill Boulevard in the city of Claremont. Visit legendsattic.com and be sure to follow Legends Attic on all social media platforms so you can stay connected to know about their upcoming sign and special events with Hall of Famers and pro players.
Hi, this is Sean McVay of your LA Rams. The Rams play here. KSPN, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
I'm in the far side.
You're in the far side.
Go.
Welcome to the Travis and DeMarco Show. So let's get to the fun, shall we? The Travis and DeMarco Show right now.
Yeah! How about this? I have been at ESPN LA for over 10 years. I had 10 years back in March, and today is the first day I have ever done a show with none other than Mike Trudell. How about that?
They kept us apart. I don't know why exactly. It seemed
like
it seemed orchestrated.
It does. Should we be worried?
Well, no, because I started getting I got an invite last week, and I just couldn't do it. And that was the indication, though. Oh, somebody has opened their minds now to putting these guys together, and we're going to see how it goes.
Who knows? Maybe they were right.
I mean, the good thing is, even if we didn't like each other, and that was why this has evolved over all these times, which, by the way, is not the case, we have a lot of Shohei Ohtani to talk about.
We have a lot of Shohei.
And you are fully kitted out.
I was going to say, what do you think? I got a new Shohei Ohtani jersey on my shoulders today. It is it's the good one. It's got the red number, which makes a Dodger uniform. I don't know. We've never talked about this. I am a uniform person, like especially baseball uniforms. The little details and the red number for a Dodger uniform is the next level.
So I walk in right this morning, about a half hour ago, and I see you ahead of me. You don't strike me as a guy that wears a lot of jerseys.
I don't.
Okay. But when I saw the red number on the front, that did authenticate not just the jersey, but your ability to wear it and get away with it. Because it's like, okay, that's actually, he spent some money on that one.
Yeah, it was a gift from my friends at Legends Attic. We had a great time at the game with them last night. It was, what's up, Eddie? Thank you for that. Speaking of Legends Attic, World Hershiser
so you were there.
Is going to join us a little bit later on. I was there.
You felt the buzz that it seemed like I could get from the television.
I got to tell you have been in the building a million times for big events, right? Laker games and historic moments, record-breaking moments, LeBron moments, Kobe moments, all that stuff. And this was a weird one at Dodger Stadium last night because nothing was really happening. There were no stakes for the game itself. The game itself was a middle of the season. I think we looked up. I think it's game 73 of 162. Yeah. Only it felt like the entire sports world was at Dodger Stadium last night. That every eyeball, and so I got there kind of early. I started walking, parked by Guisados, Jorge. Buenos dias. Started walking in, got into the parking lot, say, let's call it 5:30. First pitch, 7:10. So lots of time. A lot of people around. Okay, it's Dodger Stadium. People don't get to Dodger Stadium early.
Unless it's a Shohei bobblehead.
Right. Get into the ballpark around 6. Okay. So an hour and 10 minutes before first pitch.
So parking lot's like pretty full by the time.
It's very full.
Yeah.
And there are people in the concourses buying beers and hot dogs and stuff.
Yep.
At a level that is not normal for over an hour before first pitch. I get to my seat about an hour before first pitch, and it is mostly full in most of the stadium. By the time that you got to the first pitch of the game at 7:10, it was full. It was as full as it was going to get. Usually Dodger Stadium doesn't fill up to its capacity until the third or fourth inning. It was full from the opening pitch. And I get it. It's the Dodger debut, but it's that guy. It was 97. Expected to such a dramatic figure for a baseball player. He's enormous. He's just a really big guy. Standing ovation. Here we go again. Well, but he's coming down.
Before we went on, I said the first time that I saw him in person, and I was close enough to kind of get a sense of him. It really did make me think of LeBron James.
Yeah,
he's obviously not 6'8", 6'9", but just the sheer kind of force and presence of him athletically. The power it's bigger. It was bigger even than I expected.
I don't know what it is, but LeBron certainly has it. Show that it's this sense of every single set of eyes in the building is on them.
Yeah.
They know every single set of eyes in the building is on them, and they're comfortable in it. Like, not everybody is. There are some people that are very uncomfortable with knowing that 50,000 people are staring at them, and Ohtani's entirely comfortable with it. I think LeBron's entirely comfortable with it. And he comes in, goes to the dugout, he comes out, they play Bublé, because that's his walk-up song when he hits. It's apparently his walk-up song when he goes out to the mound. He's getting loose. Every phone is out for that first pitch. Every time you get to 2 strikes, everybody's phone comes back out. They want to get the first strikeout. And it was as electric of a baseball game as I've ever been to with no stakes. Like usually a playoff game, a World Series game, a late September, there's a pennant race game. This game had virtually no stakes, and everybody was hanging on every pitch. It was extraordinary.
I mean, I do have one critique. You mentioned the Bublé.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, he came out to Lupe Fiasco. Show goes on, and I do prefer that. Okay, over the Bublé.
Okay.
Now, it's so cool. I'm not saying it's so cool to Bublé. There's something kind of, I don't know. There's the Sinatra activation or something that probably gets Ireland really fired up. So, I did prefer the Lupe Fiasco. Just want to get that out there.
Sure, I like Bublé. I like just like you said. There's this elegance to it.
Yes.
that is very Shohei. So he pitches, and we'll come back to the actual pitching in a second. We'll get into that, but I want to kind of set the stage of the inning ends, and it was okay. It was fine. He was healthy. He threw really hard. They got a couple of little soft hits, and he was fine.
How many pitches? 28?
28, 16 strikes, 12 balls. So kind of a mixed bag as far as the performance goes, but that was beside the point. This son of a gun walks off the mound, goes to the little opening in the dugout where Dave Roberts is usually posted up, doesn't go down into the dugout, stops, takes his cap off, takes his glove off, hands it to the bat boy. They hand him all of his gear. He puts on his batting gloves. He puts on his elbow stuff, his foot stuff, flips his hair back. Great hair, by the way, Ohtani. Puts his helmet on, kind of like, does that little neck shoulder thing and walks up to home plate. Not a practice swing, never goes in the dugout, not drinking any water. And then here comes Bublé again, and he settles in, and it's like, you've got to be kidding me. This just, it doesn't make any sense. It'd been, 663 days since he'd done this. And you almost forgot, not just can he do it, but the level of excitement, the level of intensity, the level of just about every positive emotion you can have was in that 10-minute window. And the second he was done hitting Trudell, the place, it's like everybody let the air out of a balloon.
Well, this goes back to I was just talking about my kids. Now they're 10. They're playing baseball, and you do see the starting pitcher will then go hit, and a lot of times he's a leadoff hitter. It doesn't happen at the major league level though, and so the boys will ask me. We have all these sports conversations. They're really into sports. Like, well, who's the best? Who's the best? This, and we were talking about Ohtani last night, and I'm like, am I properly describing what he's doing to them? Like, how do I contextualize for a 10-year-old how no one has done this? People talk about Babe Ruth, and he pitched for 2 years and then stopped.
It's so above and beyond what Babe Ruth did as a pitcher.
Yeah,
it's entirely different.
He was better, and then the batting is there, the stolen bases from last year, the 50-50. So I'm like, do I just tell them now, even already, like right now, he's the best baseball player of all time? Like, is it? I always grew up. My dad said it was Willie Mays.
Yeah,
right.
Good choice.
And that was like kind of my answer for you could put him anywhere. He hits with power. He steals. He can play center. I'm sure if you put him at shortstop, he'd be fine. He could probably catch, like, just this incredible athlete.
Pitch.
The longevity, and there you go. Right. But not only could he not pitch, and maybe he could pitch, but he couldn't be the best pitcher or one of the top 5 or whatever it might be. Where he's he hit 100. I think his velocity. We'll talk about this. I'm sure was a little bit tiny bit down, but in his first start, it's perfectly fine for where you have it. And I think the short answer is basically like, guys, yeah, I don't have a great argument for why he's not the best.
I want to go back to what you said a second ago, that are you doing a good job of contextualizing what he's been able to do in Major League Baseball? I'm going to say you haven't for one simple reason. I don't think anybody has. I don't think that we've got the vocabulary to describe what's happening, because like you said, in Little League, the biggest, strongest kid, he plays shortstop and he pitches. But by the time you're 15 or 16, that's usually is where it starts to go away.
Yep.
Once in a blue moon, you'll see a kid in high school that is the best shortstop or the best third baseman. And he also pitches. And then that almost always ends there. There's a handful
scouts
of guys
will come in and say, pick one.
Pick one,
Yeah.
or you're good at this for high school, but you're not good at this at the next level. Occasionally, you'll get a guy in college that can do it. We've never seen this, and it's not just somebody who's saying, "Well, it's gravy when he pitches." It's not gravy. It's another steak. He's the best.
It's not icing on a cake.
It's another cake.
Yeah.
This is a guy that is the most lethal offensive player in the league. Want to throw a Judge in there? I'm not going to argue with you, but they're the same basically. Mm-hmm. But he's also Jacob deGrom on the mound. He's an elite number 1 pitcher that we just haven't seen. We've kind of forgotten. And I don't know if anybody's got the vocabulary to describe what it is that we've seen, because we've never seen it before.
The only context that I can think of, and I guess this is what I talked about with the boys and sort of why he's separate from it. You think about Travis Hunter, who just gets drafted, and okay, we'll see what the splits end up being, wide receiver, cornerback. But I can promise you that he's not going to be a top 5.
He's not going to be an all-pro at
both. And he's not going to play, and I get it's a different sport, I get that, but like that is basically what he's doing. He's playing offense, then he's playing defense for one team, and I just don't, if Travis Hunter does end up doing that, like then we're going to start to talk about him, and that builds the context, but there's no real equivalent of it.
What Travis Hunter would need to do for me to go, okay, let's start talking about this, is he'd have to go catch 10 or 12 touchdowns and have 7 or 8 interceptions. Good luck.
Yeah.
Because it's not just, hey, he plays over there too.
Plus all the yards and
do
playing every
all
play.
of it. Be the best player at both of those things. And maybe he's not the best pitcher yet, but we're getting there. And we'll see what he looks like when he pitches in another week. We'll talk about the actual performance on the mound coming up in just a little bit. If you want to play, by the way, you need to, I got softball questions for you, Trudell.
Okay.
ESPN LA's second annual listener game. You can visit ESPNLA.com right now for your chance to secure a roster spot. Don't miss the chance to play on either my team, Team Travis, or Team DeMarco. You can visit ESPNLA.com today. That's all thanks to the law office of Joseph S. Normand. Ohtani, what did the actual pitching look like? That's coming up next. It's Trav. Trudell's in for DeMarco on 710 ESPN.
For ESPN LA contest rules, go to ESPNLA.com and click the contest button.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Los Angeles International Airport's People Mover trains begin rolling early next year as part of LAX's ongoing investments to transform and improve your travel journey. The People Mover trains will quickly move guests between their terminals and our new consolidated rental car center, metro trains and buses, economy parking, and Kiss and Fly lot. The trains will make it simple and fast to get to your LAX destination in 10 minutes or less, and trains depart every 2 minutes beginning in early 2026. Learn more at lawa.org/ESPN.
Cappy here to tell you about my great friends at Ocean Subaru of Fullerton. I'm a huge fan for so many reasons. The safety, technology, versatility, reliability, and they're all about the Subaru Love Promise. The cars are spacious and sporty. You got to go see my boy Omar and his team at Ocean Subaru of Fullerton. They're focused on your needs, and they're the most knowledgeable people when it comes to getting you into the right Subaru. Ocean Subaru, 1100 South Euclid in Fullerton, just off the 91 freeway. Go to OceanSubaruOC.com. That's OceanSubaruOC.com. Ocean Subaru of Fullerton, where every journey starts with love.
Accident, or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
Hey guys, what's up? It's George Sedano. Waiting is never fun. Usually nothing good happens when you wait. My friend Jacob in the law offices of Jacob and Ronnie want to make sure you don't wait after an accident. Immediately after an accident, before talking to the insurance company, call Jacob, man. Jacob and his team will do all the work, make all the phone calls, handle the paperwork, set up the doctor's appointments, whatever the case may be. And when you speak to the insurance company first, it's a big mistake. Because you know why? They may later use your words against you. However, Jacob and his team, they'll guide you through the process, get you the compensation you deserve, and you don't have to pay Jacob unless he wins. Nothing out of pocket. Free. Gratis. So if you're injured in an accident, the first name, the first thought, the first call should be Jacob. Jacob, Jacob, Jacob. The consultation is free. That's right. Free. I told you. Gratis. Don't wait. Call Jacob 24 hours a day at 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB. Call him 844-24-JACOB or visit him online at calljacob.com.
Call Jacob.
The High Desert Beer and Wine Festival, Saturday, June 21st at the Palmdale Amphitheater. This ticket Thursday on ESPN LA. We're hooking up listeners with 3 pairs of tickets to the tastiest party of the summer. Craft beers, fine wines, food trucks, and live performances from Eve 6, DJ A1, and more. Tune in Thursday for your cue to call and win. The High Desert Beer and Wine Festival, June 21st, Palmdale Amphitheater. Don't miss it.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Flashy discounts, gimmicky sales? Don't fall for it. At Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, we give you honest, wholesale pricing all year long. No bogus markups, no tricks, just the best floors at the best prices. Call 866-62-FLOOR. No sale beats wholesale. Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, check them out at hernandezwholesaleflooring.net or call them at 866-62-FLOOR.
For the best prices on hardwood, carpet, and more, call 866-62-FLOOR. Empower.
Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little Chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money. So he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos. Fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
And yes, welcome to the Travis and DeMarco Show, now mornings 9 a.m. to noon on 710 ESPN, your destination for LA sports. Let's get back to the fellas. The Travis and DeMarco Show continues right now.
And I'm feeling good.
Got it twice last night in the span of about 10 minutes. When he walked out to take the mound, Bublé got out of the first inning after giving up a couple of hits and a run. Comes back up, Bublé for a second time.
He double Bublé'd it?
Double Bublé'd it.
Wow.
It was pretty great.
That's okay. I don't know that I love the double Bublé. I think you should have switched it up.
Clinton,
I get it.
I was saying in the first segment, Clinton, that I prefer last year's Lupe Fiasco with The Show Goes On. But,
yeah, that's a good song.
But we get it. We get the Bublé. It's classy.
Level of elegance with Shohei.
Sure.
Right,
There's a level of sophistication
yes.
that comes with Shohei that I believe Bublé conveys.
And then comes the brute power and force of him as the player.
When he hit that ball into the gap in left center field to tie the game, it's like you saw him throw 100 in the first inning, and then he shows up and he hits a rocket into the gap. And Yates, you and I have talked about this 100 times. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things is watching him run, and he didn't have to drop it into fifth gear to get there. He just kind of cruised in because it was an easy double, but. Everything that guy does on a diamond is something to look at. It was extraordinary last night. It was great to be there.
Now, I hate to interrupt the glazing of Ohtani, as the kids say.
I hate that word so much. I hate it.
More glaze coming.
I told you, Travis, that I was going to bring you something from the road.
Oh, yeah.
And I have arrived with my Omaha 75th anniversary mug.
Let's go.
You can have that.
This is great. Oh, it's got the statue.
It's got the Warren Morris statue. That's the silhouette.
Thanks, Clinton.
Of that.
That's great.
So,
it's got Rosenblatt on there, too.
Absolutely. So,
the bridge.
Oh, what
fantastic!
There it is.
What a nice tender moment. Isn't Travis
Drink some beer out
known
of that.
for? Well, I was going to say, isn't he known for being able to chug beer
Absolutely.
particularly fast?
So-
I've retired.
Well,
really?
I don't know. What
That's
about
big news in front of All-Star Friday night?
Well, I got put into retirement. You know, like I'm like a fighter who had gone through and no one had laid a glove on me.
Dare I say, Susan?
Yeah, this is not a challenge.
No.
Okay.
I got no. Nothing like that. This was actually a year or so ago.
Okay.
And we were doing an event at Pizza Hut in Anaheim. And there's this guy who is there, and he goes, "My friend wants to chug you." And quite frankly, I'm like, I've heard this 100 times.
Right.
I'm not worried. And I'm like, "Which one is it?" And he goes, "It's that guy right over there." And I looked, and I got worried.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, "Oh, this is not good." This guy is about as wide as he is thick. Okay? Big red beard. I'm like, this is not good. This is not good.
Different weight class.
He looked at me.
what was his reach like though? Like, well, how long were his arms? Because
long enough to go from here to here
Okay, all
in
right,
about a
that's-
fraction of a second. He murdered me.
Wow.
It was a mismatch.
This is what he does.
It was a mismatch.
You do it for fun and to beat your friends, but okay, he's a pro.
Gotcha.
Okay,
I haven't.
see.
I have not dipped my toe back into the competitive chug game.
I
since.
respect that standpoint, too. It's not, but it's just like, hey, look, there comes a time for everyone.
There's levels
when it's
to
time
this.
to hang it up.
There's levels.
And
to
he
this.
said, "Well, we should try it again." I'm like, "Nope."
No.
Yeah,
I'm
he
good,
showed
man.
you yeah, it was so far beyond the pale of what you thought you could accomplish that it was time to shut it down. I get it.
No, there, like you said, there comes a time where it's like, this isn't
Right.
for you anymore.
Okay.
And it wasn't.
Getting back to Ohtani, number one, I saw your Instagram page. You look like a kid in a candy store. That was really cool.
It was awesome.
Number two, I am still looking at this with the concern of this guy's playing a lot of baseball. He's doing a lot of things on the field. I know that we've never seen it before.
Hold on.
I know
We're already done celebrating?
No.
I'm not. Don't
Hey.
worry.
No, it's not. I'm counterbalancing Senor Glazer over here. You know what I'm saying?
Somehow that's worse than what you
Yeah.
said the first time.
I was trying to
I don't
make-
know.
I was
By the way,
trying to
was
make
that
it
was
worse.
that the correct translation?
No,
Jorge?
but I just let it slide like abbreviated.
That's some Spanglish, yeah.
What
Yeah.
I'm saying is that, like, I'm watching this, and the whole time I'm thinking, this is just a heavy workload. You know what I mean? In terms of all the stuff that he's doing. And the reason why I'm thinking of a Trudell is because it's coming out of necessity to some degree for the Dodgers. And you just wonder.
You think that's why they did it?
I don't
No,
agree.
I don't either.
I think he kicked in the door and said, "I'm doing this."
I think
and the
that's more
necessity
likely.
is his necessity. But my point is
his
that,
necessity as
yes,
opposed to the team's.
My point is that it's just a lot, and I'm hoping that whatever the balance is that we get on him throwing in a Dodger uniform isn't for a couple weekends in June. That's what I'm saying. I would have waited entirely if I'd known you get full-blown Ohtani in the playoffs, and that's going to be a weapon versus let's throw out a couple weekends here before the 4th of July just to get guys like Travis fired up, which is understandably cool.
Well, hold on.
But you know what I'm saying?
They didn't exactly rush him back, right?
No.
This is 690. What's
663.
the 663.
Double elbow surgery.
Even if things don't, which isn't that uncommon in terms of
not
double
anymore.
Tommy John.
No.
Yeah.
So
and every guy on the Dodgers who's had double elbow surgery has gotten injured for a year when they had it.
And if you have the triple, then you're probably done. But guess what? Then you can just go back to hitting full time and be awesome there still. So like, I just don't see the downside at all. It's all
I don't
up-
think this is for a couple of weekends in June to get Senor Glazo or whatever you called me excited about
Wait,
this.
Jorge, what is the actual term?
Don't answer.
Please.
Glaciado.
Glaciado. Oh, that sounds good.
Senor Glaciado, ¿cómo estás? No, you're right. It's
muy
not
bien.
for a couple of weekends. It is. They are his rehab starts, effectively. He is rehab starting against major league teams.
And that's why I have absolutely no problem with it. I think that they were as deliberate as you could be. 663 days is a long time. I understand that it is 2 arm surgeries, but this is where we are in the evolution of major league pitchers.
True.
Multiple arm surgeries are no longer a catastrophe. It's an occupational hazard.
Trudell, the point is, though, is that literally the on-record thing is they are making it up as they go along. And that's fine.
Because
that's
no
what you
one's
have
ever
to
done
do.
it before.
Right. But
It's
that's
uncharted territory.
That's exactly right.
And well, I true, but I also he has I think already shown though that one side of the game doesn't impact the other in an adverse way outside of just simply the injury happening, right? but it hasn't been like in the past. Oh, this load of him pitching is impacting his hitting, and look, it's dropping. So that to me has already been proven by Shohei.
He's on a better team. You know, he's probably got a better health situation, if we're being honest, being on the Dodgers as opposed to the Halos. I just, the body has human limits. That's all I'm saying.
Here, can I get technical with a couple things with you, Travis?
Sure.
Since you're baseball, so I was looking at some of his max, like with speed and all that stuff. So his max prior was 101.4.
Yep.
All right. He hit, I think the top he hit was 100.2 yesterday.
Yep.
Totally expected, right? You're eventually going to ramp up to it, but sometimes the second Tommy John, you can lose a little bit. So I'm just curious to watch that number. Now, the real baseball nerds, they're going to look at the spin rate, and you can't measure it in the one game yet. They still have to get it all in their systems. But I'm sure the Dodgers have an internal spin rate, right, of, okay, here's what it was in his rehab start, here's what it was in the simulated, here's what it was in the game, and they're looking at all that stuff. Like, what are the keys that you're thinking about in that sense? The location we talked about, maybe because he's amped up, like the technical pitching stuff. What did we see?
I thought what was interesting is Dave Roberts was talking afterwards about they thought he was throwing harder than they wanted him to.
Yes.
That they were hoping he would sit somewhere 95, 96, which is, we've entered a world where just, hey, chill out at 95 is a real thing. That's a really weird place to be.
Shohei's like, guys, I can't throw that slow.
There's 9 guys in Omaha that can throw 100.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a weird thing. The adrenaline, I think, certainly played a factor. I'm not worried about his velocity. I thought that you're talking about like spin rate and all those sorts of things. They monitor every pitch you throw in the bullpen. There's the math of it all, which looks about right, and then there's the eye test.
That's it.
His ish was nasty. His command wasn't. His ability to land his pitches
was a little
wasn't.
but that thing sank when he threw the sinker.
Of all the things that he did, the command not being there, that's the one that I think mattered the least. He hadn't pitched in 2 years.
Yeah.
That will come, but a couple of those balls he overthrew. I think that's adrenaline. I think that's rust. But even his misses weren't misses by a ton. They were smaller misses that I think will land. I could not have been more pleased with the bite, the velocity, all of those things. And I think the only hurdle left to clear is we'll find out sometime later today when he talks and how do you feel? And if he feels good and we start ramping up, maybe he'll pitch again by the end of the weekend. Maybe he won't. We'll see what they do. But the only hurdle really is, what did it look like velocity-wise? Really good. Did the pitches have bite? Really good. And does he feel good today, tomorrow, and the next day?
There's a fourth factor here that I think is impossible to quantify, kind of the Z-axis, which is going to be effectiveness in big games.
Yeah.
You've got to remember, he's never actually pitched in games that matter.
I think to him and to his team and to his country, the WBC mattered
but that was a one-off
deal.
tournament. I was there. I remember seeing it, and he's also playing in a different context in terms of the teams he's against versus the team he's with.
Yeah.
That is what I am looking at, is how much are you actually relying on Ohtani in big spots, even if all the stuff looks great.
Have you seen anything that leads you to believe he's not ready for
not
big
at all?
moments?
No, that's not my concern. My concern is that other guys are at the plate. No intimidation. That's a real thing. If guys think they can hit you, your likelihood to be effective is lower. And I'm just, it's not a concern.
Yeah.
It's just what I'm looking at is what is the actual competition going to look like, even if everything he's got going is going right.
I know. So when you got in here, and I immediately pushed back on the pushback, right? I'm still in celebratory mode, but to lean into what you were saying just a little bit.
Trudell over there.
There's one thing though that I am watching. So I asked somebody who does injury stuff, right, in sports about it, and like, what do you look like? And the one thing that he told me that raised an eyebrow a little bit. There were some clear changes to his mechanics.
Yeah.
And the reason being, if you tear that UCL twice, okay, well, what were you doing? What was the motion that led in part to that? And so as he has this slight mechanics change, like, how does that impact the pitching? And again, we need a much larger sample size, but you just don't – you have to be wary of the soft tissue stuff on top of it. So that's the thing. Like, the slight mechanics change, to go back to Travis's point, though, about the eye test, like, if I wouldn't have noticed that. just watching it. It just looked like he's throwing super hard. The ball sank, and really the misses that he had with a lot of the 2-strike pitches were probably because he was so excited. This guy loves to pitch, and he just wanted to get it there, and he's just
not sharp
balls.
yet. Like there's a skill to even a high level player like Shohei Ohtani. When you don't pitch for a long time, your ability to finish guys off and to be able to put guys away, that's something you have to kind of rediscover.
Little muscle memory,
just a little bit of that.
Like
and
that Arkansas kid last night.
That dude figured it out. 19 Ks, no hits.
That was wild.
It was amazing.
It almost got a little loose at the end there, but anyway. Yeah.
It was really, I mean, it would have been great had he gone out there and struck out the side or punched it. By the way, he did punch out Machado. They just missed the call. So the stuff is there. The command is not. The health, we'll see. Fingers crossed. But it was the oddest part of the whole thing. I was mentioning to Trudell a second ago. So he pitches, places buzzing. Just there's this crackle in the ballpark that was really weird for a Monday night in June.
Right.
Like that's not supposed to be there. He comes up, the crackle's still there when he's in the batter's box. He strikes out, and it's like,
yeah, air's out of the balloon.
And then here comes Mookie Blanken Betts walking up to the batter's box. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to check out here for half a minute to get my thoughts right. It's like, no, it's Mookie.
Yeah.
It is, and you can't tell me, and Cease was, I think he struck out the first 5 guys, but there's this relentless grind to the Dodger lineup that, okay, I survived Ohtani. Mookie. Okay, so Freddie.
Yeah.
Will Smith. It's just this incredible grind and then finally they broke through and they pounded him in the 5th inning, and that was the game.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him as a competitor on the mound. Is what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? That's a side of Ohtani we don't know as Angelinos. We don't know necessarily even as big league fans. You know what I mean? Because it just hasn't happened. It's happened at WBC, different context.
And it's like going into the playoffs last year when you didn't know what the starting pitching depth was going to be, and it was fine. You know, and now this
barely.
It was barely. That's an overstatement. It was fine means Dave Roberts did the best job of any manager in the entire playoffs.
I guess what I mean by it's fine is they won the World Series.
You know what it is? I'm going to make a distinction of it worked.
Right.
Whether it was fine or not, we could argue, but it worked.
Yeah. If Mike Schilt doesn't give away his whole hand in Game 4 of that series,
we're also forgetting one thing in this whole discussion is that they've got most of the bullpen back now.
And Tanner Scott looks like Tanner Scott all over
so,
again.
So, the bullpen's cooking now. It's
Yates, thank you for this.
You're very welcome,
Very nice, very generous.
Show.
We will do it. You mentioned it. The pitching, the playoff pitching. We still got a ways to go, but what does this change for? Coming up next, Trudell's in for DeMarco, 710 ESPN.
The most followed sports radio station in the world.
In the world. That's right. In the world.
Welcome to Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, the industry's idea of a healthier tomorrow, where vapes are deemed safer. Never mind, they can contain cancer-causing arsenic and lead. And they're anti-aging, because you're more likely to die younger from a stroke. In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, the deadliest industry can rebrand itself as your friend.
Builders also offers financing. Call 888-607-8808 today. That's 888-607-8808. Or go to JourneyBuildersInc.com.
Your next Subaru is waiting for you at Subaru of Glendale. Check this out. Lease a new 2025 Subaru Crosstrek Sport CVT for just $279 a month plus tax for 36 months.
One at this payment. VIN S3723202. MSRP $32,189. $33.99 due at signing.
Call 888-855-6434 or check out SubaruofGlendale.net.
On approved Tier 1 credit through Subaru Motors Finance. No security deposit. 10,000 miles a year. Model code SRD-21.
Waba Grill is an LA original, so we've got to keep it real. Real fresh with our Asian-inspired menu that's grilled to order every time.
Pick me up and never put me down.
Real quality with our marinated proteins like hormone-free chicken, ribeye steak, wild-caught salmon, and shrimp. Enjoy $5 happy hour weekdays after 3 p.m. with our 5-piece pork veggie dumplings and a value-sized premium beverage drink like our creamy and delicious Thai tea. Waba Grill, keeping it real every day for you.
Hey,
John Ireland here. Laker fans, meet Pro Baller Energy, the official energy drink of the Lakers. It's a natural, healthier alternative loaded with ultra premium ingredients like organic agave, electrolytes, B vitamins, and natural caffeine. Plus, it's NSF certified for sport. Just clean energy to keep you locked in without the crash or synthetic junk. So go grab yourself the limited edition Lakers can and rep the team in style. Pro Baller Energy, champions choose clean energy.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads. No. T-shirt cannon. I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
This is the Travis and DeMarco Show.
Now weekdays 9 a.m. to noon on LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
Kane is in the building.
Hey, there we go. All right, now I'm ready to hit. I've yet to hear this when he comes in off the walking towards the mound though, like Travis. And that's where the buble is kind of in your. It's kind of now embedded, probably in a way. That first experience of seeing him come out.
Yeah,
you know, it does work. It does work for sure.
Good.
Yeah. Just kind of like that. Does he step like in rhythm with the song when he's going out?
You know what's funny? You say that. Watching him walk from the dugout. So he started playing catch in left field before he went into the bullpen, and like we talked about a minute ago, like every eye in the place is on him, and it almost has. This is going to sound kind of stupid, but you'll know what I'm talking about. There's like a weight to it, like a real palpable energy to every head turning and looking in the same direction at the same time. He almost struts when he walks, like not in. It's just he's so loose and fluid, and there's just.
Well, he
has a presence like no baseball player I've ever seen. I think I worked for. I'm sorry, Trudeau. When I worked for the Angels, Mike Trout was at the peak of his powers. It wasn't like this. He was a great baseball player that was very fun to watch and would do cool stuff on the base. But there wasn't this electricity that followed him around there where there is with Ohtani. And like Mookie's a Hall of Famer. Freddie's a Hall of Famer. They're great players with presence, but it's not that.
Well, LeBron has that,
yeah.
And that was what I was trying to get to when, like, the first time that I saw Shohei in person. And I think the only way to understand why with those two is that they have been the best since they were like 6.
Yeah,
they just have. And I don't know nearly as much about Shohei's upbringing and kind of like how it was, but I find it impossible to believe that he wasn't always, just given the gifts that he has and the size and the strength and the combination of all of it and the fluidity. And so when you are that good at something for that long and you don't know otherwise, there just is a certain way. Everybody has been looking at them forever.
Yeah, I guess
they are more comfortable in it.
Yeah,
they have delivered in the biggest moments. And that maybe is the one thing where I would be curious to see somebody that really sees Shohei every day. Did that go up even an extra level after they won, or was it like that from the second that he put on the Dodger uniform?
Yeah.
But maybe it added just a bit to it. But
it's fun. The Sunday Night Baseball, they played the Giants, and then right after the game ended, they had Mookie on SportsCenter. And they did a little stand-up with Mookie from the ballpark. And they asked him a question about Shohei. And I forget what the question was. But Mookie's response, I think, is kind of what you're talking about. And he said something, goes, guys, I see Shohei for 5 minutes a day. He goes, I never see him. He's doing so many different things. He's pulled in so many different directions. I see him when he comes in the clubhouse and he says hello to everybody. And the next time I see him is when he's on deck ahead of me. Those are the only 2 times I see him the entire game. And I think that when you're like that, when you are so famous, rich, accomplished, talented, that you just kind of live this life where you not invisible, but just perfectly comfortable being in the center of attention, and you kind of lose track of it.
That actually surprises me a little bit, and maybe Mookie's exaggerating, but I just figure, like, you're at the ballpark for 10 hours or whatever, right? A lot of the guys get there at noon?
Sure.
Well, and they're just so I kind of figured, because this is one thing that LeBron is actually really good at, is just the kind of interactions with teammates, the joking around, the sitting after a shoot around on the bus. And so I'd be curious, and Shohei, the English relative to the Japanese and how much that weighs in. So I would be curious to kind of know, how much does he just hang out? Does he play ping pong with his teammates ever?
I bet not very often, because think about it, if like LeBron were LeBron James, the player, and he also had a second job that demanded an equal amount of time. Like, he was also the head coach. Okay, so yeah, I can come in and say, hey guys, how you doing? You know, bump knuckles and maybe play a quick game of ping pong, but I got to go look at tape. I got to meet with my assistant coaches. I got my media obligations. Like, Shohei has 2 full-time gigs. I got to hit. I got to get treatment. I got to do scouting report as a hitter. Oh, by the way, I got to go through a bullpen. I got to go to scouting report as a pitcher. I got to meet with the pitching coach. He has 2. He's Clayton Kershaw and Mookie Betts.
That is a very fair, clear difference.
Yeah, I don't have time to, once I'm done in the cage, and once I got seats tonight, how to get me out the last couple of times.
In the NBA, it's all the same. You might watch individual film, but like as a team, you're watching team as a film, and then maybe you watch your plays with your coach, but you don't have to do it. The scouting report for a baseball thing is different, I'm sure, especially for a pitcher.
Yeah, Mookie's looking at film different than Ben Kasparius is. But Shohei's got to do it both ways. It is the 710 Backyard Experience. Tune in tomorrow. Mason and Ireland, the guys are going to broadcast live from a fan's backyard. Thanks to Fiki Sports. Don't miss all the fun and surprises streaming live on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. Been reading a lot of promos about the softball game that's coming up July 11th. You're going to call the game?
Well, that's what I understand. So speaking of Chris Morales, we're going to have to deal with him at some point today, right? During the show.
Can we just enjoy the next 19 minutes?
Well, I'm looking forward to it because he's going to come nudge me, and I like it. And you're going to see
exactly?
You'll see. But yeah, so Chris asked me to do something for the game. Originally, I thought he was going to ask me to. Somebody was going to ask me to play.
Yes,
which it seemed like you were kind of looking over at me with flirtatious eyes.
I am.
In that way.
Come hither, Trudell.
But I think that I'll be with Michael. Well, I guess we'll be calling to the extent that you can call. A game.
I'm assuming.
But I don't know that this
Michael's
going to
call the game.
Well, I don't.
Morales is going to call the game. Is Pepe going to be there?
I don't know.
Pepe has been there the last couple of years.
Yeah, but
look at Team Cappy. That's my team. Okay, I'm on Team Cappy. We need people. I know you're an athlete. You're fit. We need some bodies.
Was this a draft? Because
yes.
Mason, I would have expected Cappy to be able to do a little better.
Something happened. I was not present for the draft. I can't speak to it. But of the 8 best softball players at 710. 7 of them are on Mason's team. The only one we have is Mario. Mario's the only guy we have that
and you?
Not really.
No?
Not really,
You're an actual baseball player, I thought.
35 years ago I was, yes. Yeah. 35 years ago. In fact, it was about 34 years ago that O.J. Simpson made his run on my graduation day, which is also today, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. It's been a long time. And here's the little-known fact, not a little-known, well-known fact. I don't try or run hard or hustle. My goal, Trudell, is show up and leave in the same physical condition. That's my goal.
Well, I had to retire from actual competitive sports. I'm 43 now, but 2 years ago I was playing in the club that my boys play at, the youth soccer club. Mm-hmm. They have like an adults tournament, right? It's a fundraiser, but it gets pretty competitive. And about 4 minutes into the second game, high ankle sprain. And I've done low ankle sprains a million times, but high ankle sprain, sometimes when you see like an NBA player, you're like, wait, it's an ankle sprain. No, it's different. You're actually like tearing a different part of the muscle. And it took about 6 months to really feel normal after that. So I haven't played competitive soccer since then. And the last time I played competitive basketball, running up and down, I got 7 stitches on a Laker game day.
Are you one of those guys? You go really hard in these pickup games?
I play hard just in general. Yeah,
okay.
I can't. The competitive streak is too much. And
okay.
So that's the thing. Now, if I were to play in softball,
how'd
it'd be
you
the
get
same
7
thing.
stitches?
I smashed heads with a dude, both going for a loose ball.
Okay.
Again, doing something you would never have done. You know, it wasn't a good. Nope. It felt like it had been something I think that I had been able to do though up until that age because my reflexes were good enough to handle it. Now that's what I'm saying. That's why at age I was probably 41.
Did you play Little League?
I played.
Did you play high school baseball?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can play.
I mean,
we need you on our team.
Again, I have retired from competitive.
This is not competitive. We just need you will put your bat on the ball. Yes.
Well, yes, but
if there's a fly ball hit to you in the outfield, you will catch it.
Yes, I can do those
things. This is all we need. I'm not asking Ohtani.
Maybe I'll come out of the booth for like one hit or something, but I think I've already committed to.
We don't need a 5-person booth.
Do you understand?
No, it's me, Michael, and Morales.
If you can catch a fly ball, you are instantly in the top 2 or 3 players in this entire game.
Well, I would probably
that is a very
probably
low
demand
bar.
to play shortstop if I was going to have to play in the field.
Okay, let me just. As consultant, I would say that you need to play. Mario does a good job of playing shortstop. Okay, so Mario's on our team.
Yeah,
we need another guy that can do the basics. You can play center field. I'm going to need you to Kelly Leak it. I'm going to need you to cover it foul pole to foul pole. Go catch everything that's out there. You could swing this thing for us.
I don't know. That doesn't sound like a good enough offer. Because my injury risk there,
my
injury risk there to be asked to play the whole outfield essentially,
gap to gap.
That I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I could still play. Like I could play infield with a lower likelihood of getting injured.
There's the only place we need in it. We only need the third base and second base. The ball didn't go there very often. I'm going to play first because it's the only place I'm willing to stand and not move. So your options are. Could you pitch?
You might be overrating me though. I've never really played slow pitch softball. I played baseball.
You'll be fine.
Isn't that where you throw the ball like super high and you have to sit and wait for it?
There's a height limit. You can't throw it to the moon and down. It has a little soft arc.
Yeah, I'll. Right now, the plan is to be there and to be with Michael and Morales. But maybe once I get a look at, maybe I'll put my glove in the car.
Start putting together a list of demand/requests, and I'll see what I can accommodate. Emily's got some power rankings. You want to?
I'm going to surprise you next segment, but stay tuned. It's pretty great.
All right, we got Emily's first power rankings coming up there. Trudell's going to try not to die. We're going to try to get him.
Oh, you heard that on the other side?
Field.
I did mute my own mic, but apparently not Travis's.
Apparently. It's all coming up.
Sucker Clapper here.
No, we can get him on the phone. Oral Hershiser will be joining us about an hour and 15 minutes right now, and we're getting close to Morales time as well. It's all coming up. 710 ESPN. Next Gen, of course, is the official air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and electrical team of SoCal sports fans. And did you know that the water here in SoCal's got some stuff in it that, well, you don't want? Nitrates, pesticides, forever chemicals, lead, chlorine, and more. So why not see what a difference purified water can make for you and your family? Because for a limited time, Next Gen is offering ESPN LA listeners $500 off any whole home water purification system. But they don't stop there, of course. Next Gen is your whole home comfort provider, offering plumbing, AC, heating, and electrical services. So schedule a visit today. Learn all about the benefits of cleaner water and total home comfort. It's going to start getting hot, too, so you're going to want to make sure that your AC is running at its best. Whole home expertise, financing options, legendary 5-star service, available 7 days a week. So don't wait. Give them a call right now. 833-3-NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN and nextgenairandplumbing.com.
LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. If you're ready to upgrade your driving experience, you gotta go and check out what's happening at Cadillac and their incredible new lineup of state-of-the-art EVs, sedans, and SUVs. And hey, look, there's no better place to experience the luxury of Cadillac than at Cadillac of Beverly Hills. Check out Cadillac of Beverly Hills and their beautiful showroom at 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. And check them out on the web at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
Pacific Palms Resort, LA's Hilltop Hideaway and #1 work and play resort, provides opportunities for all travelers and locals. Enjoy restful accommodation, dine in the Red Restaurant with an expansive outside patio, or pamper yourself and relax at the spa. Hit the links at one of their 2 championship courses. The Babe and the Ike. Pacific Palms Resort is the perfect choice for a Los Angeles venue for your business meetings, weddings, and big events. Enjoy a beautiful staycation or family holiday at their Hilltop property. Book your stay at LA's #1 work and play resort today at PacificPalmsResort.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
And yes, welcome to the Travis and DeMarco Show. Now mornings, 9 a.m. to noon on 710 ESPN, your destination for LA sports. Let's get back to the fellas. The Travis and DeMarco Show continues right now.
Roars! It's power ranking time. And today is National Mascot Day.
Oh.
And I was thinking of all the mascots across sports, across brands even. And I was just thinking.
Like Mr. Peanut, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Peanut is included. I think I'm going to rank the top 10 sexiest mascots.
Sexiest.
All right? Sexiest mascots that are, that are just looking great out there,
Mr.
okay?
Peanut.
Mr. Peanut is not on the list.
Oh, boy.
Surprisingly. He's an honorable mention because he seems like he gives off wealth and he doesn't have wealth. Monopoly Man is also not in this list.
So, he's got a name? It's like something Moneybags is his actual name.
The Peanut or the Monopoly?
The Monopoly guy. Does Mr. Peanut have a bow tie or not?
I have no idea.
Non-bow tie wearing Mr. Peanut.
But he does have a monocle.
Monocle and a top hat, but no bow tie.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the word sexy being next to mascot.
We're about to find out.
And I'm trying to think is there a sexy mascot?
There are at least 10.
Have you ever seen Gritty?
And I can't wait to find out who they are.
Okay,
and so
number
now
10.
I'm ready to rank them.
Number 10, I'm going to have as the Commodore of Vanderbilt. Okay, he's
fancy.
He has an incredibly strong jaw.
Yeah.
He is clearly quite wealthy because he's the Commodore. You won't be
What
the
is a
Commodore
Commodore?
I think it's like a version of I don't know, like the Vanderbilt was called the Commodore because of like money and wealth, but I don't know for sure.
I thought for whatever reason I'm associating a Commodore with like a ship. Do you command a boat if you're a Commodore?
I think it's a Navy term, there's a ranking, right? In the Navy, like you're a. It's like a type
but Tennessee is landlocked. Why are they the Commodores?
I just Googled it. It's a rank above captain and below admiral.
Hey, you know what? Doesn't matter. He's sexy. He's very good looking. Has a nice strong jaw.
Or it could refer to the president of a yacht club.
Okay.
More like a Commodore for Vanderbilt.
So,
All right. Number
sense.
9 is Rosie Red because she looks like she's just got a cute little bob. She has like a nice like shape to her, and she just looks like she's someone you want to take home to your parents. She seems like someone that would be a nice, good time. Someone maybe up Travis's alley. Rosie Red. So,
dark complected.
Yes.
Fun. Yeah.
Girl next door vibes from Rosie Red.
Yeah, I like Rosie Red. A little too much makeup for my taste, but generally speaking, yes.
Wait, what's Rosie Red?
Rosie Red is the Cincinnati Reds mascot.
Oh, okay.
She's got a cute little bob going.
I like the skirt.
I would qualify or classify Rosie Red as sassy.
Sassy, a little sassy, but also she reminds me a little bit of like someone who would be in a league of their own. Like not necessarily Kit, but maybe like the Madonna character, but like better actor potentially. Okay,
well, it shouldn't be worse.
Number 8.
Seems pretty wholesome.
Number 8, I have as Rocky, the Nuggets mascot. Mostly because he is the highest paid mascot in the league and in I think professional sports, but he has abs. Look up Rocky the Mountain Lion Nuggets abs. He has abs, and so I'm he also can do flips, and he is very acrobatic. So we got Rocky at 8.
Yeah, I do see the six-pack, but the thing that you said that struck me, you seem to be impressed by the money that's coming in. That's okay. So that
it
plays
adds
into
to the sexiness of the mascot here.
Okay. So, kind of a tried and true rule.
Fair.
Money is alluring, shall we say?
And that mountain lion's not bad. All right, 7. I'm going to go now into brands. So brands is starting here. So I got Captain Morgan. He looks like he's the bad boy. He has the beard. He probably smells bad, but doesn't mean that he's not sexy. There's some times where that's sexy.
Foppish, right?
I don't know what that means.
A little fancy.
And I like a little fancy.
Okay.
I like a guy with that kind of mustache.
Like Johnny Depp, you're
saying?
Yeah. Okay. I'm kind of in on Captain Morgan. I think like if my wife even catches like the scent of it, she almost wants to throw up. Thinking back to like high school days. For me, I was in college. Like the first time I tried, I was like, it's not that bad.
It's okay.
Yeah.
A Captain and Coke is not the worst thing you've ever had in your life.
Fine.
It's fine.
And he has a high-ranking officer. He's a captain of something.
He's a leader of men.
Exactly.
It's actually one of the few drinks I prefer with a diet. I like the Captain. There's something about because I like
Captain Diet.
Pokemon. There's something about the diet mixed with Captain.
The extra
that
chemicals.
I prefer, if I'm remembering back in the day. Okay. Anyway.
And then we got 6. We got Smokey the Bear. Need I say more?
Oh sure.
Only you can protect.
Salt of the earth, Smokey the Bear.
Only
his
you can prevent forest fires.
Consistency.
He cares about the environment. He has a purpose in life. He not only wants to help you, but wants to help others, wants to help the world. And he is a bear, and that is always really enticing. Number 5, I have as Mr. Clean. So you might think that being bald is a detractor, but no, it's actually a positive in this aspect. It seems like Mr. Clean elected to shave his hair off as opposed to it kind of happened to him.
Mr. Clean always reminded me of Mark Messier.
I don't know who Mark Messier really looks like.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, right?
Stud for the Rangers.
Doesn't he got some Mark Messier
Oilers
vibes?
First. Yeah, there's some Messier to him. I mean, Messier needs the hoop earring.
The earring is a definite positive.
I didn't remember the hoop earring until I just Googled Mr. Clean.
Well,
that adds to the sexiness.
That's a prominent hoop earring.
So you're on it right now. Go Mr. Clean 1970s. I'm not sure he had an earring then. I think the earring is a more modern addition to his look.
And it's good for Emily.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
Well, I'm pulling up the bottle. No, it's there.
It's there? Okay.
Oh, it's there.
Okay.
He had the hold on. He had the hoop earring before Michael Jordan?
Wow.
Maybe that's where Jordan pulled it.
Yeah, and the bald-headedness. And just, the arms, the biceps, the tight clothes, always
He's
great
fit.
for Mr. Clean.
All right, he might be a little low on your rankings, to be honest.
Well, just wait for the end. So we have 4. The Jolly Green Giant, the green beans. The entire one, it's hype.
What's up with the wreath?
It looks nice.
Yeah, he's got a
like
wreath.
the wreath.
He's not an Olympian. He doesn't get a wreath.
I think me and you are debating about whether or not this is the flamboyantness of these men. I think that's a positive for me.
You like a little bit of a peacock in a guy.
Yeah, it's nice.
All right.
And he's very tall,
He's
which
large.
means other things. And so we got Jolly Green Giant. Number 3, I got Tony the Tiger. Tony the Tiger is a leader in his community. He is really buff. He has this kind of air about him that you just want to hang out with him. Good at sports.
And he's got an ascot, if I'm remembering correctly. Doesn't Tony wear an ascot?
I believe so.
Yeah. And it does say Tony. You're right. Yeah. So you know it's his.
He's great, Tony the Tiger. And then number 2, and I think this is this could have either be one on most people's list, but I'm going to go with the Brawny Man. The Brawny Man.
The brawny towel guy.
Brawny towels. He looks like a lumberjack. He's got the red and black shirt on. He's got the muscles. And, sometimes you just want to buy that paper towels just because of him.
Are you a fan of The Simpsons, Trudeau?
I know enough about The Simpsons to probably get a reference. I didn't watch probably as much
the
as
brawny paper towel guy is one of Marge's fantasies. So you're not alone there, Em. Marge fantasizes
that
about
makes
the
sense.
brawny man.
Well, here's all I'll say. A quick Google brawny towel image has returned. There have been many different brawny guys.
Well, they've had a cartoon,
been
and there's been a real guy
rotating.
Too. Oh yeah,
there's 8 different guys. I will say this: they're all hunky.
Mm-hmm.
They're all lumberjackish. They're all handsome for sure.
Yeah.
So
square-jawed guys.
I still prefer Mr. Clean, but
I also
that's fine.
think generally I like the bigger guys, so that's why Brawny works for me. So number 1.
Okay.
And I think number 1 on this, I don't think it's going to be controversial because I think that this mascot gets a lot of love around the world. And I'm going to go with Mrs. Met. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's
Mrs.
good.
Met, you can't miss her. She's got a way about her. She is a little sassy. I guess she's in a relationship with Mr. Met, but Who knows? Maybe we could, challengers us up.
It's your rankings. You can rank them in any order. I got to tell you that what's Lady Red called? The Reds?
Rosie Red.
Rosie Red by a mile over Mrs. Met.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Mrs. Met is a little bit more bodacious than Rosie Red.
I like Rosie Red's haircut.
You like her bob?
And quite frankly, comparing her to Lady Met, I like the makeup on Rosie Red more now that I see it.
I like the skirt too on Rosie Red.
Yeah.
Kind of just.
You're still on Mr. Clean, aren't you?
I would say, yeah. So Mr. Clean's too low. For me, I would say Jolly Green Giant is too high. Don't quite get that. And I'm a little biased to because I went to his wedding, but Crunch, the Timberwolves mascot, I would say he's a wolf, very athletic, handsome, kind of dashing in a way. I would have had him in the mix.
No Rampage.
Rocky.
Come on, no Rampage.
I'm sorry, Rampage. You're not making the list. You're not sexy enough. Add to the sexiness.
I have a lot of questions about Crunch's wedding. Can we do that when we come back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm prepared to answer some questions on this. There's a couple things I have to keep to myself.
No, you use your discretion. Yeah. But I cannot hear that you attended Crunch's wedding and not have every fiber in my brain start firing.
I'm prepared to answer questions
Crunch
about this.
wedding breakdown plus Morales when we come back. Trudell's in for DeMarco, 710 ESPN.
710 ESPN, your home for the 17-time world champion Lakers.
KSPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
At Children's Hospital Los Angeles, we're a nationally recognized leader in pediatric care, honored by U.S. News and World Report as one of the best in the country. Here, we achieve amazing breakthroughs that change lives. From groundbreaking cancer therapies that offer new hope to young patients, to advanced heart procedures that save lives. We partner with families to conquer challenges and achieve extraordinary outcomes. Choose the best care for your child at chla.org.
4th of July savings start now at Cardin Alleyway Hyundai. Lease a brand new Hyundai Elantra SCL Sport for just $219 a month for 36 months with only $34.99 due at signing. Drive with confidence backed by America's best warranty, 10 years or 100,000 miles, and Hyundai's exclusive owner assurance program. Visit us off the 91 freeway or schedule your test drive now at CardinAlleyWayHyundai.com.
At SU94 4151, $34.99 due at signing plus tax. License $85 doc fee and registration. No security deposit. 10,000 miles per year. Offer expires 7/7/2025.
Ready for a delicious escape? The New Islands Restaurant's $10 protein bowls are your ticket. Packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients. They're only here for a limited time, so enjoy one today. Visit islandsrestaurants.com.
The biggest event of the summer is coming to Honda Center. Saturday, June 28th. Most Valuable Promotions presents global boxing star Jake Paul on his path to becoming world champion. Taking on Mexico's former world champion, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. In the co-main event, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez defends his world titles against Cuba's knockout artist, Yuniel Dorticos. Former boxing and UFC champ Holly Holm returns live from the Honda Center on Saturday, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. In the market for new flooring? Why pay more at big box stores? At Hernandez Wholesale Flooring, every day is a deal, no gimmicks. Call 866-62-FLOOR or visit them online at hernandezwholesaleflooring.net. No sale beats wholesale.
And yes, welcome to the Travis and DeMarco Show. Now mornings, 9 a.m. to noon on 710 ESPN, your destination for LA sports. Let's get back to the fellas. The Travis and DeMarco Show continues right now.
It's ESPN LA Legends Launch presented by Legends Attic. It's all part of ESPN LA's 4th annual All-Star Friday night on July 11th. Coming up at the West Covina Sportsplex, you get to step up to the plate, take your shot, a high-energy challenge to hit as many balls as you can. 90 seconds. You bring your own bat and helmet and your big swing. Spots are limited, so head to ESPNLA.com right now to reserve your spot. Step up, swing big, be legendary. So you could do the Legends Launch, Trudell. You could get your 90 seconds worth of swings and then walk right out to center field and pop a couple of home runs. What do you want? Like, what do I have to do to make this happen for us?
Well, for one, I got to talk to my wife.
Well, I can't probably help you with that.
Well, Morales hinted at this, but Cappy tried to talk to my wife.
How did that go?
It worked out okay in the end. But just it was a friend request on Instagram or an ad request, but it had come out of kind of previous conversation about it, and we got some mileage out of it, but we can wait for Chris to get in for that.
He'll be in.
Yeah.
So Crunch's wedding, was he in the mascot suit, or was he just the guy in the suit?
So Crunch, the guy in the suit, right? So my wife, this to go back to, I just brought her up in a different context, but so we met when I worked for the Timberwolves, and she was a Timberwolves dancer, and her friend on the dance team ended up marrying Crunch. Okay, and so it was their wedding. And
so this is a Timberwolves.
Yes, it was
little
a very
club.
Timberwolves. Yes, very Timberwolves wedding, and I think at some point. I think he went and he had the mascot suit on.
He had to. That was my next question.
He kind of had to.
Yeah.
But it was, for the most part, it was just him. His name's Dave. Great guy, great mascot. Still doing it. This was in 2006 or something, by the way.
Is he the wacky mascot or the acrobatic mascot?
He is a combination, which is why I hold him in such high regard. He's got the tricks. He's also got the daredevil stuff. Like, he'll get super high, more high on the ladder than you want.
Yeah.
Right? When you're like, okay, but there's no net. If he falls, It's going down. Like, we're talking about an ambulance on the court here. Like, so that he's got the risk element to him, but he's also got some showmanship.
So you said his wife was also a Timberwolves dancer.
So
you said that his costume was a part of the wedding at some point.
Yeah.
That he was in the crunch mode.
Yeah.
Did she have her Timberwolves dancer uniform on at any point?
They may have done the weddings. I don't know if it's like this for you. Like, I can't remember exactly which wedding
you in your 20s
happened in one,
and they all kind of run together.
They kind of run together. Yeah. But there was no. There may have been a choreographed type of routine thing, but there were no costumes or anything.
Okay,
for that. But yeah, that was Crunch's wedding.
When he put the costume back on, what was he doing? Was he doing acrobatics or bits?
That's the part that I don't remember, but I think it was more just sort of an ode to it, to like how they met. And honestly, there's a chance that didn't happen. And I just, in just knowing him,
Mandela effect.
Yeah, there's a real chance that he did not, that the Crunch, I guess I'm going to say uniform, did not.
Costume,
did not come out at all. In the wedding itself. But
I know a lot of times for, like, if you're the mascot at a certain school, you will announce that you're that mascot on your graduation day, and you'll wear a portion of the outfit. So, like, in Virginia Tech, they'll wear the hokey feet of the mascot. At UVA, same thing. They'll wear the caveman shoes, and so that everyone knows, oh, you were caveman or hokey all these 4 years.
A friend of mine, when I lived in Houston, she was the Bevo mascot at UT. They have multiples. There's not just one, but she was at basketball and football games. She was Bevo in the giant head.
I mean, there's the other part of this though that I think of. I think of an actor that's known like for one thing. Like, what's an actor that you think of and you immediately associate?
Sam Malone. For Ted Danson.
Okay, and so there's a part of that, like it's Sam Malone, when Ted Danson's somewhere and someone asks him to do some line from Cheers, and he's like, oh, man. Like, I think Larry David, that was, I feel like this is part of Curb, right? And so there was that part of it where maybe you don't want to have to put the mascot costume on at your wedding when you're the mascot, but then you also sort of have to.
But that's why you're who you are.
Exactly, you got to celebrate it to an extent. So there's some balance.
Crunch
there that
made you. You have to continue to be. You got to give the people what they want. They want some crunchiness out of the whole thing.
Right.
So when I was in high school, I'm trying to get a job and kind of some of my buddies already have jobs and when they're starting to drive, and I'm like, man, I'm behind. So one of the first jobs that I applied to be the Chuck E. Cheese mascot, but I never got.
You were going to be Charles E. Cheese.
I was going to be Charles. I interviewed, and there was obviously somebody more enthusiastic about it, and they ended up getting the gig. But I.
So you like go around and take pictures with the kids at their birthday parties?
I guess, but that was a description. Like, hey, we're looking for somebody to be Chuck E. Cheese. I was like, hey,
I've been a mascot
I
before.
signed up.
You were the Chick-fil-A thing, right?
Chick-fil-A cow. When I worked there. And I was the Chick-fil-A cow in our holiday parade in my downtown in my town. And so I was outside on this truck just like throwing candy canes and like coupons at people as I went by.
Sure.
Nice.
Knowing you the way that I do, I have a feeling you probably put a little velocity on those candy canes when you were throwing them at people.
I think I was a little nicer back in high school, especially working at Chick-fil-A. I was very my pleasure. Yeah.
Oh, that's mandatory, right? Mm-hmm. Where are you on Chuck E. Cheese taking your kids?
I've generally pro Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh.
And
how about the ball pit?
Not a huge fan of the ball pit.
You ever take a really good look at some of those balls? Like really stopped and looked at the individual balls?
I think I'm seeing more boogers than balls, actually, looking in there.
My wife she calls Chuck E. Cheese pizza and feet. because when you go through, it's this strange potpourri of pizza and little kids' feet because they take their shoes off to get into the ball pit. And I just, there's a lot going on in there.
But as somebody that has spent a lot of time around Michael Thompson, I tend to go the other way on the germs because he freaks out so much to such a degree about every little thing with germs that I try to lean the other way and not worry about it so much. So I think his being such a germaphobe has made me less concerned about it to the point where I can tolerate a Chuck E. Cheese ball
I'm
pit.
okay with most things except for when there's little kids involved where they're all touching the same thing. I'm going to go to the Michael Thompson side. I'm not going to.
I get it. It's just like what you know when you have little kids, and my youngest is now 4, so he's getting kind of a little bit past that stage, but they're going to get sick anyway.
And then you're going to get sick.
Point. Yeah, it's just like
and then
it's just
everyone
part.
else is going to get sick.
It's just part of it. Like kids are going to get sick. We have to go. We still got to go to work, guys. Maybe sometimes. And my kids are now the 10-year-olds. They're getting to the point where they might get a little sore. And I'm like, yeah, you're not going to feel 100% every time before the game and after the game. But like it gets where you have to go through stuff like this.
Speaking of kids, I posted the picture from Dodger Stadium last night, and I got a couple of questions on Instagram. I was told the story yesterday, Mike, about. 2 of my 3 children were back in the house this weekend. They were at school and they came home and they demolished the house in just a matter of hours. And I sent them a kind of a crappy text the next morning, like, "Hey, clean up your, you know what?
Yeah,
Mom's coming home and she shouldn't have to come through. You know, you're adults. Clean up after yourself."
Reasonable.
Right. I thought so. And Emily, you kept saying, "Oh, they're not awake yet. They're not awake yet." This, that. By the time I got home, actually, it had gotten worse. So not only did they not fix it, but they had ratcheted up the chaos by the time that I came home.
So then what do you do?
Well, I went to the Dodger game. I left it there, and I said, I guess they're not going to do it. And I don't know. I stayed down here last night, so I haven't been home since. So I don't know. Maybe they fixed it between now and this moment or yesterday. But, yeah, it looked worse.
That's always kind of the trick in parenting when you make the first, whether it's a threat or just a request, right, depending. But then it doesn't get done. Then what do you do? You know, and then if your kids figure out that there isn't really that much behind the threat, you know, we're not going to hit you. We're not going to, what are we going to do? Stick you in your room? Or we're probably not going to make you skip a game because we're going to let the team down. That's the part where it gets a little trickier.
The problem is, you're right. I agree with everything you said. It's with my children are older. They're adults. It's, okay, then I'm just not going to do the things that you need to do to live. like, well, there's no food in the house. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Well, what am I supposed to eat? I don't know. I mean,
so you're going to kind of let you figure it out mode then. If you're not
I don't know. Maybe the last time I bought something, everything was all over the place. I just figured I'll just eat out and you can figure it out. Well, I don't have any money. Right. So
there you go. Okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like then it's like, oh, then they'll do a little bit for a little while and then they back. They're a challenge. Okay. They are a challenge. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA Finals last night. And I want to kind of circle back around to what I'm looking at with the Thunder and how far away the Lakers are from looking like that. That's coming up next. Trudell's in for DeMarco, 710 ESPN.
The biggest show on the radio.
Mason in Ireland is next at noon after Travis and DeMarco.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really rough team. I have no idea how Cappy ended up with a team. And by the way, I like every person individually on his team. They just aren't good at softball.
Do you not like somebody individually on your team?
Yeah, there's one person there.
The OGs of LA Sports Talk.
Mason in Ireland on 710.
Don't navigate the legal system alone. Hey, it's Travis. At the personal injury law offices of Joseph S. Normand, they will fight tirelessly to get you the max compensation you deserve. Joe and his team understand the emotional and financial toll that an injury can take on you and your life. Call 213-747-2000 or visit normandlegal.com. The law offices of Joseph S. Normand have helped thousands of people like you recover millions of dollars in settlements and verdicts. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000. Your recovery is their priority.
Hey guys,
Welcome to Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, where they want you to believe vapes are calming and pretend nicotine won't lead to increased anxiety and depression. Big Tobacco's Fantasyland is a nightmare for us all.
at 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. And check them out on the web at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
The High Desert Beer and Wine Festival, Saturday, June 21st at the Palmdale Amphitheater. This ticket Thursday on ESPN LA. We're hooking up listeners with 3 pairs of tickets to the tastiest party of the summer. Craft beers, fine wines, food trucks, and live performances from Eve 6, DJ A1, and more. Tune in Thursday for your cue to call and win. The High Desert Beer and Wine Festival, June 21st, Palmdale Amphitheater. Don't miss it.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the Travis and DeMarco Show.
Now weekdays 9 a.m. to noon on LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
So OKC takes a 3-2 lead. They win game 5 last night, headed back to Indiana. Halliburton is hurt, did not look good, and I'm not so sure that we just didn't see the launching of a dynasty. And I know that a million things can happen, and there's injuries, and there's this, that. But you watch that team. You watch their best guy, who's an MVP. You watch their other best guys. Jalen Williams was amazing last night. Chet Holmgren feels like he's barely even getting started, and he's a really good player. And it was kind of a bummer, honestly, Trudell, looking at how good they are, how young they are, how many options they have in every possible way, and then kind of thinking about where the Lakers are and how much ground there is between those two things.
Well, first, I'm not going to push back at anything that you said about OKC because they are that good. I think that other than it, like before the season started, they were clearly the best team in the West. I think everybody that had watched them last year and known that they got Caruso and Hartenstein without giving anything up, that they were going to be somewhere between 60 and 70 wins. Like they were going to be the 1 seed. All that they really had to do was prove that they could handle the intensity ramp up of a postseason from some veteran teams. They have now done that. Like that has been accomplished, right? They have one more to win, and I think that if Indy had any chance, it was a healthy Halliburton being able to be full Halliburton, and he is clearly not healthy. Okay, and so like him being, even if he's at 80%, even if he's at 90%, that's not enough. They need him at 100%. So I do expect the series probably ends in Game 6. We'll see. Indy could still battle back, but regardless, they have also figured out, I think, how to build up from the salary cap perspective to protect themselves once the extensions kick in for Chet, for Jalen Williams, and they have all of this young talent sitting behind it. During the break, we were mentioning Topic, like the injured player that they drafted last year that was like one of the best young point guards in Europe. He's come in. They've got future first that they can replace anybody at the end of the roster, like an Aaron Wiggins type, who's a really good player, but some team, or a Kenrich Williams, like some team may say, hey, come start for us. And OKC has to be like, okay, well, you're going to have to pay for that, and we'll just replace it with a young guy because we've got Shea locked in. We've got Chet Holmgren locked in. We've got so it is very hard to poke holes. The only flip side to that before we get to the Lakers is, there were some similar things said when they built the Durant and the Westbrook and the Harden and Ibaka, and then Harden ends up leaving. We don't have to relitigate all of that, but you can't forecast too far into the future in the NBA. You just can't do it. And so now to bring the Lakers into this, the thing that
but before we move to the Lakers, like what are, because let's go back a couple of years ago when Denver won the title. And it's like, okay, Jokic is in the prime of his career. He is. You got a really fantastic second best option in Murray, and it looked like they're going to be here a lot. Maybe not quite like this, but we saw what happened. Murray gets hurt, and KCP leaves, and they make a couple of changes, and they're good, but it's not like they've been back to the finals since. It's the age. It doesn't feel like you said that there's an economic reckoning coming from them. They're flush with picks. They seem to have the right mix of guys as far as there isn't a, hey, but what about me sort of situation that can sometimes break these things up. The coach seems to be the right guy in the right spot. There doesn't seem to be, but if this goes haywire, then the whole thing. Luck is the great unknown, but other than just, hey, random stuff seems to happen occasionally, that's a pretty narrow window to try to find some roadway to get in there.
They're the closest to what Golden State was the first year of Steph and Clay, and like when everybody was kind of like, all right, we'll believe it when you actually win, and then they actually won. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the path moving forward, and it's like, well, Steph's on this great deal. They've got Clay, he's young, two-way, he's locked up. They bring Iguodala in, and eventually, of course, they end up getting Kevin Durant. That was more of a fluke of the salary cap, and then not the smoothing and all that stuff. So, but all of the teams that have won since then, I think, have been either more veteran or they haven't had the picks or they've already given up their picks, like in the case of the Lakers, to get Anthony Davis. They got LeBron for free, and that's a great way to start, right? If you get a max level guy without having to give up a ton to get him, that's a huge way to start. But then you had to give up so much in order to get Anthony Davis that you had to be perfect with all of those types of moves around it. And they also got screwed by the bubble. Like had they had a full offseason, I think they win the next year too. Mm-hmm. I think they're the best. They were the best team in the regular season. The entire team got injured in the postseason. Same thing happened to Miami. Same thing happened to Boston. Same thing happened to Denver. All the teams that got to the conference finals did not even make it back because they had a 1 month offseason. So that at least took away a potential window. And then the Westbrook trade happens, right? But like nonetheless, that team was not built in the same way. Like LeBron was already well over 30. AD was getting closer to 30. This is a younger group here, that's why it's more similar to Golden State. Now, in terms of the poking the holes, you're right, Travis. It's kind of like you're just counting on something if you're
the universe kind of squaring the account.
Something, whatever it is. And now, look, teams will now like that. They are the measuring stick to an extent. Boston, I think, was in a different way. They played a much different way, but they had some sustainability there. They don't have a lot of picks that are moving forward that are out. But now with Tatum's injury, and they're going to have to trade Holiday and Porzingis, so that's going to be a little different. So we're not thinking about them in the same way. OKC will probably be the way that a lot of teams are sitting around thinking, what they're all watching right now. How do we beat this team? Mm-hmm. What is the roster? And this is where I wanted to bring the Lakers into it.
Sure.
Well, the best place that you can start is having a top 5 guy. That's the number one thing to start in Luka. And so if you can construct a roster around Luka, which Dallas did a couple years ago, right? Big athletes everywhere, defense, all of that. And the game is relatively tight, like these Indy and OKC games have been up until Halliburton seemed to get hurt last game. That's where the Luka Doncic effect, I think, really comes into play, where he on his own is getting you a really good shot every possession. In the place where I think like most people going into this season would take Luka over Shea, and the difference being he can get a great shot for the team. Shea can get a great shot for himself. Mm-hmm. He's still working on some. He doesn't. The passing windows aren't quite the same for him because he doesn't have Luka's size to just look over and to bash off whichever defender might be on him. So like Luka in crunch time will get your team a great shot every single possession. That to me is still where Shea could grow some, and also where he can't get to because of the size limitation. And like all the rest of the team building stuff, sure, OKC, they've already, not only do they have the edge, they have an edge moving forward, but if I have to start figuring out how to beat a team like that, give me a guy like Luka. And by the way, Jokic is in that, of course, is right there in that conversation. And he nearly, despite having a much inferior supporting cast, took him to 7 games.
Do they have the flexibility? Do they have the assets, the resources, the acumen to build what you're describing, which is they got to get better defensively. They got to get a little bigger. And it's not if you could just, white paper this thing from the beginning and say, okay, we'll take this guy, that guy, but they're kind of boxed in certain situations. Then maybe to get some of the things you need, some things need to go out. Austin Reeves obviously is the name that keeps popping up. He was asked at his camp about it. He says, I want to stay, but if it isn't, then we start over somewhere else, but I want to spend my entire career here. That I understand the blueprint for building it and how you want to build it, but do you have the materials to build it? And then there's the LeBron component of it all too, which is still a highly, highly effective player, a really good player. He's 40. Oh, we talked about a second ago, well over 30. Well, now we're over 40. And this is unprecedented. Like what he is doing, like we were talking about Ohtani earlier, like there is no blueprint for this. This has never happened before. And how do you plan for something that you don't even know how it's going to play out?
No, so it's almost two conversations. And the first part of it is like LeBron. First of all, we'll see. He hasn't officially done anything yet.
He did say he was getting his knee ready for next season. That's a buying signal, as they say in the trade.
No. I guess what I mean is I think everybody right now is operating under the assumption that LeBron will be back in a Laker jersey next year. I'm just saying he hasn't officially opted into his player option or figured out like there are different things that you can do with that. But once that happens, that'll be the first indication. But that next year, if it is his last, like that does exist kind of in a vacuum of, okay, we haven't seen it before. How do you put a roster not just around LeBron at that age and then Luka and all of that? I'm more speaking about like these next windows and thinking about the next couple of years, right?
Yeah.
Or just building around Luka, which eventually, whether that's next year, whether that's in 2 years, when LeBron does retire, when he stops playing, which he's already played better for longer than anybody in NBA history, and it's not close. That's the one conversation. But to me, the Lakers only at this point they have a couple of first round picks still out, right? There's the one to Utah. There's one more out there, but they are the Lakers. Like this is to me the difference between them and the Thunder. The Thunder have had to make great moves to get other players. There will always be players that want to come play for the Lakers. Yeah. And that's the part of where even if you don't have like the full boat of draft picks like San Antonio might have, or Houston's got this bevy of young guys now and Phoenix's picks, etc. Like what they don't have is that not only are you the Lakers, but you have Luka Doncic. And guess what? That job application for like the guy to come and play next to Luka is a very enticing one. And I think that that extends down to those next spots on the roster. It's like, hey, anybody want to come play center with Luka Doncic? A lot of hands are going to go up. Anybody want to be a 3-and-D wing and sit and shoot wide open corner threes and then defend? Like, so I just think that it's a good starting point for, and that's not the only thing that they have going for them, but that's why I think there's got to be some confidence that I don't know if it's next year or if it's in 2 years, but they're going to be able to build something.
I agree that building around Luka is if that's your jumping off point, that's great because of all the reasons you said. But can you build around him to the best possible version and accommodate LeBron simultaneously? Because, like you said, there are two separate things happening here at the same time. That the best version of Luka and the best version of LeBron, I don't know if those two things, they can both be pretty good, but to get what you need with Luka, are there the assets that you have to go get that if LeBron is still here? If LeBron is still here, can you fully unlock Luka in the best possible way? There felt like there were moments of it, but not nearly as much as I thought there might have been in what were they together, 2.5, 3 months or whatever it was?
Yeah, right. From mid-February on.
Yeah, and it was like one of those, that's good, but it feels like both of those guys, and maybe it's just a matter of more time together will smooth those edges off, but it's like there feels like there's another level to get to that they never got. And I don't know if you can, because sometimes you just get those two things that are at such high levels at the same time. They both got to back up a little bit.
Yeah, I think you try for that, but that's where you're really talking about that 1 year.
Yeah.
And next year, can you perfectly thread the needle to get everything that you need around LeBron and Luka? And like I don't know. I think they're going to try.
Yeah.
But the bigger picture thing is thinking about where OKC is at. How do the Lakers as a roster, like basically, how do the Lakers get to their next title? That's always going to be the focus. And those conversations are a little bit different, but being able to have acquired Luka in February to me is I'm still a little bit running off of that high. Speaking of highs, here's Chris Morales.
Oh, you didn't even have to say anything. I was just getting set. How's the first 90 minutes of your first ever Travis experience going?
What do you think?
I'm enjoying Travis. Like he's a pro. Like he knows a lot of things. He
is a pro.
He's very nice during the break. He asked me a lot about my family. He hasn't really. I haven't had a chance to ask him.
Did you nudge him yet? Or is that just a you and I thing?
I
By the way,
don't know
we'll nudge around 10:45.
Here's the thing. I don't know that I'm too comfortable enough to nudge Travis.
I mean, Travis and I have never nudged officially.
I don't know that Travis would like you nudging him in the way that I liked it. Honestly.
Probably not, no.
So that's kind of what that's the thing
We'll
that
get into
I'm
this
starting
more,
to pick up
don't worry.
about
Do we have
Travis.
to?
Yeah, because I got a lot of time. I mean, I missed the first 90 minutes, so I got a lot of stuff to do.
You got a lot of. You got to get your blank in.
Yeah, as DeMarco would say, let me get my stuff in.
Yeah.
Some shots off.
No, I understand. I know kayfabe now. Trudell, do you know what that is?
What?
Yeah, I didn't either. It's the wrestling stuff. DeMarco is a wrestling fan, so I'm learning all my. Kayfabe is like the drama, the story. And one of the things is you tell the other guy, I got to get my stuff in. So Chris has got to get his
like
stuff
for us,
in.
it would be let's get our nudge in, and then we'll do the other stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I was the way that
Do I need to be here for that?
Yeah, you got to watch it.
The way that I understood it was more like that. You're somebody that you just came off the bench and you want to get your shots up right away because you're a scorer.
Well, I was sixth man of the
Jamal
year in
Crawford?
high school.
Basically, yeah. That's Chris is kind of a Jamal Crawford in that sense. Although, I did want to ask you because you slid it right into the chair next to Cappy. Was that on Friday?
When I went to his house?
You were like the host. Yeah,
Yeah,
were like the
I would
host.
do.
Yeah, how did that go?
Fun in Frivolity Friday.
Like, have you thought about stopping running the station just to be on air all the time?
It's something Evan Cohen and I talk about often, and
Yeah.
probably they kind of have to like clone me. So I don't know. I enjoy doing both.
Two of you?
Can you imagine?
No.
No,
We get you from the front and the back.
Two of you? Well, I mean, one is a lot.
Even in my, I almost died 10:29.
Well, it's like we could clone
and the reduced power me is still.
Two of them.
Well,
can you imagine?
Here's the thing, though.
I'm like Chernobyl now when they took me to lower power,
Is that-
but
where
then
do
it
we start-
exploded.
I was going to say, we know how that ended.
Where do we start with a clone? Where do we can we rewind a couple years on the heart? And just
It
kind
can't
of
be like Stewie when he had bitch Stewie when he was less intelligent. I can't have that kind of clone. So I don't know.
Oh man!
All right, so we're going to nudge at 45.
Probably around 45.
All right, we'll nudge at 45.
We'll nudge each other. Maybe we'll nudge you together.
I'm out. I don't even know exactly what it is, but it doesn't sound like something I want to be a part of.
What do you know about bunnies?
Like
well,
rabbits?
That's the tease. Stop there. That's the tease.
I don't like any of this. Factor Cap is coming up next. Trudell's in for DeMarco, 710 ESPN. We know that you got a lot of choices when it comes to your legal team, right? But here's what you know about the law office of Joseph S. Normand. Here's what I can tell you because I've experienced it firsthand. You need family on your side, and that's what Joseph S. Normand does. He treats you like family. So if you've been injured in an accident, it's stressful, it's confusing, it's scary, and perhaps most of all, it is overwhelming. And that's why Joe's going to make sure to fight for your maximum compensation, to work tirelessly to make sure that you get what you deserve. So if you're hurt in an accident, call Joe. 213-747-2000. That's 213-747-2000. Of course, you can go online at normandlegal.com. I've been through it myself, and this is what's going to happen, and then this is and he's on it, and he knows that the insurance company, what they're doing, he makes sure that they don't do it to you. If you're hurt in an accident, call Joe. 213-747-2000 and normandlegal.com, and make sure that he knows that Travis sent you in.
You never have to miss a moment of LA's mega sports station. Get the all-new ESPN LA app.
Just search ESPN LA in your App Store or Google Play.
Download, tap, and bam!
You got 710 ESPN in the palm of your hand.
Next Gen is the official AC, heating, plumbing, and electrical company of SoCal sports fans. And for a limited time, Next Gen is offering $500 off any whole home water purification system. You may not know it, but our water here in SoCal contains pesticides, lead, forever chemicals, chlorine, and more. Call 833-3-NEXT-GEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN. CSLB number 1011173. Next Gen, here for you now and for years to come.
NEXGEN. Call 833-3-NEXT-GEN.
Waba Grill is an LA original, so we've got to keep it real. Real fresh with our Asian-inspired menu that's grilled to order every time.
Pick me up and never put me down.
Real quality with our marinated proteins like hormone-free chicken, ribeye steak, wild-caught salmon, and shrimp. Enjoy $5 happy hour weekdays after 3 p.m. with our 5-piece pork veggie dumplings and a value-sized premium beverage drink like our creamy and delicious Thai tea. Waba Grill, keeping it real every day for you.
Do you know a high school...
Welcome to Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, where vapes are anti-aging. Because you're more likely to die younger from a stroke.
Chevrolet, the #1 Chevy dealer in the West region, 13 years in a row in California once again.
30 years ago, Wu-Tang Clan changed hip-hop forever. Now, it's time for the Final Chamber. Live in Los Angeles, Wu-Tang Clan, together, live on stage, the beginning of their final tour. Live this Sunday at Crypto.com Arena with Run the Jewels. Get tickets now at WuTangClan.com. Wu-Tang Forever, the Final Chamber. Produced by AEG Presents.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
Here we go. It is Factor Cap time. Factor Cap on the Travis and DeMarco Show. Each weekday around 10:30, producer Emily serves up what's going down, and fun and frivolity ensues. Special thanks to the law offices of Joseph S. Normand for making Factor Cap possible.
It's Joseph S. Normand. It's Factor Cap on the Travis and DeMarco Show on 710 ESPN. And if you've been hurt in an accident, let me help you. Call my office at 213-747-2000. That's 213-747-2000.
Let's do it. Factor Cap right now.
Take it away, producer Emily.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Thanks, Joe. Hi, guys.
Aloha.
Hi, Em. So, Chris, you missed 2 things.
Okay.
One, you missed my power ranking of the sexiest mascots at 9:45.
Was was Puddles the Duck number 1?
No, Puddles the Duck did not make the list. It
Oh
was
my God, how did he not make the list?
Well, number 1 is Mrs. Met, obviously.
Okay.
And then we got the
Bad
Brawny
choice.
Man. Yeah.
I liked Mr. Clean. Personally, did you know he had a hoop earring?
Oh, it's not just sports mascots. It's
It's
all
sports and corporate brands.
Oh, okay.
A mascot of a thing.
What about the Aflac Duck? Is he up there?
You got a
Nah.
duck thing. You've mentioned 2 ducks.
I do have a duck thing.
And maybe a rabbit thing. Who knows? And then also, too, my parents are currently driving to Kentucky to help my sister move in.
What
and,
part of Kentucky?
Lexington, which is where my sister is moving.
Nice.
And my dad texts me, why do you have the former Prime Minister of Canada on your show today? They think they said Trudeau, not Trudeau. So there's that. Thanks, guys.
Have you ever thought about being a prime minister?
Well, my
you know.
my family name, right, or on my father's side is Trudel, but I think it got at Ellis Island. It may have been like Trudeau because it's French, many years ago. But they came over like before the First Continental Congress. But like, so there's a chance that there's some long time.
You think you have a
relation
connection there?
Were the
going back.
Trudeaus on the Mayflower?
Well, you know, like they
had to be
were
at
there
some
before.
point.
Yeah, they were there early
Okay.
on that side. But the French part of it, like everybody there's this thing in France where they say that Charlemagne apparently got around a lot.
Okay.
So a lot of people are related to Charlemagne.
Charlemagne was a Rolling Stone?
His branch. So
Is it like Genghis Khan?
One of my grandparents back in the day, I remember, mentioned Charlemagne, and I was kind of like, well, don't a lot of people sort of say that because he sired many a child? But I think there's a chance that the Trudel lineage goes all the way back to Charlemagne.
I won't do a power ranking of sexiest world leaders because Trudeau would be there.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
So, okay, here's my first Factor Cap. So I started watching Your Friends and Neighbors. I know.
Oh, you
that,
did? Okay.
Travis is watching it. You watched it.
Yeah.
I watched the first 3
Yep,
episodes.
I watched it.
Did you enjoy the amount of Amanda Peet just being involved with everybody? So unnecessary.
Okay, so here's my Factor Cap has to do with her being involved with people. And so the main impetus of the divorce is that she slept with a former NBA basketball player.
Right.
And clearly to me, from the context clues, I think it's one specific NBA player that, might be the inspiration for this guy.
Oh, okay.
Might work with us on ESPN.
I get what you're saying, yes.
My statement, though, is you would be offended if you were the inspiration for a role in a TV show or movie. So whether it's good or bad, you'd be offended by being the inspiration for something. Travis, Factor Cap.
Cap. I think it'd be fantastic if somebody said that they saw your life or your deal, or even if your deal were a bad thing, like you're the impetus for being a
Logan Roy.
Logan Roy, sure. I think it's a compliment, or at least you've cut through enough to make an impact in somebody's life. I think it's fact.
Morales?
I think we know fact. I would 100%. I would want to be on the show too.
You play yourself?
No, I would I'd be working at the Starbucks or something. Like
You'd be in the background drinking coffee?
I don't think this guy wants to be in this show for that role. Trudell.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think my ego's big enough to want to sort of see what somebody's interpretation of it would be. Are you like some directors, who are the directors that have themselves in a scene somewhere? Is that what you're looking
Hitchcock does that.
Hitchcock does that. Yeah, Tarantino.
Tarantino.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like, didn't Marty put himself in something once?
He's in a lot of things as himself as
well.
Yeah.
He was just in the studio.
Yeah, he was in the studio.
Yeah,
which was great.
Yeah.
Don't tell Travis to watch it. He won't.
Why don't you watch the studio?
I don't watch much. So, look, I got one thing at a time. I'm on Friends and Neighbors. I've watched one episode, and I liked it, and we're going to work our way through
It's tough to rewatch every Rams game from last season to work that in like you do. By the way, we got to get the Stafford tape. We'll talk about that in a sec. Go ahead.
Okay. So after every Dodgers home win, you can go to Panda Express and get a $6 Panda plate.
Bam!
And I am economical as well as I love Panda Express. And so I will oftentimes get a Panda plate after the Dodgers win.
So what's in a Panda plate?
It's a 2-item combo.
Okay.
Two entrees.
Orange chicken, broccoli beef, and chow mein.
So that's usually what is that usually, like $9 or something?
$10.
$10, okay.
So it's about
That's
half
not bad.
off. But I go to the same Panda Express, and I'm worried about becoming a regular. I don't want to be a regular at Panda Express. That's not some place. So my statement is, there are some places you don't want to be a regular. Chris, Factor Cap.
So I'm going to say cap on this one because the In-N-Out that's next to my house, because I walk so much, now I walk so much, obviously. Part of my routine, and when my uncle's around, he walks with me. We walk to the In-N-Out. That's about 2.5 miles. We eat, and here's why In-N-Out's important for me. They do no salt. So they'll make a no-salt burger, no-salt fries, which is important for my wife now, where people get to know us and go, hey, guys. And I think they're thinking, are they father, son? Are they just friends? Whatever. I've gotten to be known there, and I don't think that's a bad thing because they can see we're, doing some sort of activity because we're in a walkout stuff. So I don't mind. I could see the Panda Express fear. I know in a prior life, I was worried about being recognized for my... oh, yeah, I'm ordering for a friend, too. And I'd be, on my phone pretending.
What did they say they wanted?
Yeah, what did they want? Oh,
that's the
right.
great thing. I think she wanted this.
And I know Travis has done that, too.
Hold on. I'm just waiting for this text to come in so I can,
Exactly.
Okay.
Right,
so I'm good with it. Fact.
Trudell, there are places you don't want to be a regular. Factor Cap.
Like that one place you go to all the time?
This is
Manhattan Beach?
This is a cap. I think that the more comfortable that you can be with yourself, and I'm getting closer and closer to that point every day.
It's true because in 2017 you were tight.
Well,
you were tight.
That's what you think. I think that I was more playing the character.
Oh, you were tight. You wouldn't have let me nudge you then.
No, that's the thing is that anyway. This is an argument we have all the time. I think it's somewhere in the middle, but I am definitely more comfortable with myself now. And Travis, I don't know if you've experienced this especially as you're on the air and you're kind of mimicking whatever you think you're supposed to be the first couple of years, and this is how. And so then you get, every year it gets a little bit more like that. So I would say the same thing equivocates when you go to get food somewhere. If you just happen to like Panda Express and just embrace it. Who cares? What are they gonna say? And
hey,
I, by the way, also like Panda Express. It's not as good as Lian Shin, which is which is like a chain in the Midwest that I grew up having in this great lemon chicken. Oh, I love Lian Shin.
But it's the same thing, right?
But same concept.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I think lean into it and get the orange chicken.
It's a big styrofoam box of salt.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So
not good for me anymore.
So I get where you're going with this, but the spirit behind it is just go to what you like and stick with it.
Trev?
So the question is, it doesn't have to be food related. You just don't.
You don't want to be. Hey, I go to the liquor store. Hey, Em, nice to see you.
Well,
again.
that happened to me quite a bit back in the day.
That's why it's fact. There are places where you don't. There are places where being a regular is fine. There's a handful of restaurants that Susan and I go to. That
Susan,
we know the waiters and we know the owner.
What's an example
of
a place that's not someplace that you would want to be seen regularly?
A casino.
Okay.
Easy.
No, I'm just saying, like, there are certain video stores that if you're in there all the time,
like
gentleman's
some
club.
of those that were on the Deuce back in the day.
Yeah.
You don't want your jersey hanging in the rafters at a gentleman's club.
There are places where you do
Shout out
not
James
want
Harden.
everybody to know where you are every single day. Yeah, they do. Oh, he's back, right? Like, a bar is like that fine line. It's nice if you're in there to go get a sandwich and stuff, but if you're like every day they see you coming in and you're Norm from Cheers.
See, like,
Not
I'm a
great.
regular at our trivia, and it's like we go every Wednesday, and they know I'm there for trivia. I'm
Yeah.
not going to Brennan's every
But if
week.
you were sitting at the end of the bar
Yeah.
drinking, half a bottle of Jameson every night, that's
Exactly.
not the good thing.
Unless that's your thing.
It's not a good
So-
thing.
Trust
I
me,
mean, I don't
it
know,
ain't gonna
maybe-
turn out well.
Hey,
I have one more for you guys. So one of my favorite movies is called Before Sunrise, and it all takes place on this day, June 16th, 1994. Yeah, I know where we're going here. So it's a story about two people that meet in Vienna on a train, and they spend the whole day together and kind of fall in love. And in it, they gotta go through different bars, they go to different places, and they look at TVs and all this stuff. And I always think they should have the OJ chase somewhere in this movie and just barely touch it and then go on, because the OJ chase happened June 17th, 1994.
31 years ago today.
So my statement is they should have mentioned the OJ chase somewhere in the movie. Travis
Absolutely.
Petrocap.
Fact, because it's an iconic moment, not only in sports history, in American history. The OJ chase was iconic 31 years ago. Everybody that experienced it probably remembers where they were. What
I was
they
at
were
Dodger
doing.
Stadium with my dad.
It was
I was
something
gonna
that
ask-
no one could forget.
I was asking if your dad was like on the radio or something
Oh, no,
during
the OJ trial was a big, and he was doing mornings, and I was like,
But I mean, like during the chase
oh,
itself.
no.
That would
He
have been
was,
crazy. If
he was on that
okay.
morning, and then we went to the Dodger game.
Okay.
And it's the first time, maybe in history, that Dodger Stadium ever put something other than Dodger or
Dude,
baseball-related
split
stuff.
Screened
up on the
NBA
Jumbotron?
Yes.
Finals. They split screened the NBA Finals on NBC. They had Game 5 in one side. They had the
Yeah.
OJ chase on the other. They split screened the NBA Finals. It was an insane moment.
We'll
How
get
old
back
were
to
you
it.
when it
So
happened?
I was in either 6th or 7th grade.
Okay.
And so I kind of remember it just in the context of my parents brought it up, but it wasn't like a seminal moment for me as much.
It was for me and
Yeah.
continues to be something that I'm endlessly fascinated by. Plus, we got a nudge coming in Rabbit trivia.
Not just that, there is in the new Naked Gun trailer,
Yeah, I saw it.
but there's an Easter egg to OJ in it.
I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that, right?
I saw
We
that.
can talk about that.
Yeah, we'll do that. It's all coming up. Fact Cap, of course, is brought to you by the Law Office of Joseph S. Normand. You got a lot of choices in your legal team, but family always comes first. Call 213-747-2000. That's the Law Office of Joseph S. Normand, 213-747-2000. DeMarco's out. Trudell's in. 710 ESPN.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio.
That's Mason in Ireland.
Crazy. I was stupid and young and reckless. Stupid, young, and reckless. It's great
That
to be that
sounds
way
fun to me.
at some point, yeah.
Mason in Ireland. Weekdays at noon.
On 710 ESPN.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. If you're ready to upgrade your driving experience, you gotta go and check out what's happening at Cadillac and their incredible new lineup of state-of-the-art EVs, sedans, and SUVs. And hey, look, there's no better place to experience the luxury of Cadillac than at Cadillac of Beverly Hills. Check out Cadillac of Beverly Hills and their beautiful showroom at 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. And check them out on the web at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
The High Desert Beer and Wine Festival, Saturday, June 21st at the Palmdale Amphitheater. This ticket Thursday on ESPN LA. We're hooking up listeners with 3 pairs of tickets to the tastiest party of the summer. Craft beers, fine wines, food trucks, and live performances from Eve 6, DJ A1, and more. Tune in Thursday for your cue to call and win. The High Desert Beer and Wine Festival, June 21st, Palmdale Amphitheater. Don't miss it.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This is the Travis and DeMarco Show.
Now weekdays 9 a.m. to noon on LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
This rejoin.
There we go. Yeah, we know Horace. He's back there.
10:48 on a live imaging Tuesday, the Travis and DeMarco Show. The great Mike Trudell sitting in for DeMarco. Who is he just trying to stretch the graduation weekend? Is that what he's doing?
He's under the weather.
Uh-huh.
He had it a graduation weekend, and now he caught a bug on the trip. What do you mean,
Yeah, I don't buy it.
I trust DeMarco.
I remember texting him on Father's Day. He didn't mention he was feeling under the weather.
I mean, I haven't seen DeMarco outside of these confines since we were playing pickleball, getting ready for the tournament last year that got canceled. And when is that coming back? I don't
Pickleball.
know. Why can't we get pickleball back on the agenda?
So
You'll
this
play
year,
pickleball, but you won't play softball?
Pickleball, much lower chance to get hurt.
He was supposed to play softball, but then Pepe's family is in town, so Pepe couldn't do the broadcast with Michael and myself. And frankly, I said this to Jarrell earlier. I get along great with Michael, but having the burden of taking on Michael for the entire broadcast, that's a lot for me.
How dare you? How dare
So
you?
I
A lot for you.
Yeah,
Michael
so
in
I
that
need
way.
somebody
Can you
to
imagine?
I need somebody to cut it a little bit, kind of like when you cut cocaine with some other product.
Sure.
Yeah, I need somebody to cut Michael.
Did he come up and call the game when we're up to bat? Because he can just come down, take his at bat, and then when we go back in the field, we need to tilt this thing back towards Team Cappy a little bit.
Okay.
We are drastically undergunned in this situation.
So you don't believe in the great Mario Ruiz? Hey,
No,
Greg Bergman, Travis, and yourself.
No.
So who are you saying stinks? Because you're
Everybody other
Emily.
than Mario.
That's not nice.
So Bergman.
I'm putting
What about
myself
yourself?
in there.
Play the play-by-play
I
I
look,
did the first year.
What about Marcus?
Does Travis
Have you
go
seen him
deep?
play
Travis
before?
goes deep.
Marcus said, this is Marcus quoting Marcus.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Oh.
And then
Yeah.
Kasim
What
is
about
trying
Kasim?
to. So we
Kasim
had
has never put a glove on his hand.
But on Friday on the
Oh,
Sedano
no.
and Cap show, we had video evidence of him in the batting cages a year ago. And it looked literally like you handed a bat to somebody who had no clue on how to use it, what it's used for. It was.
There's only so many right fields to stick somebody.
That's what I was telling you, Trudell. I need
Why-
you to
first of
not
all-
only play, I need you to Kelly leak this
Look.
thing. I need you to catch everything. in
I
the
don't even
outfield.
know what that means.
I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something that's not nice that I wouldn't have said in 2011 or whenever I started.
2017. That's when you and I had a lot of interactions where you just ignored me.
Good strategy, by the way.
I was just like, what is this guy talking about?
It's a good
Although
strategy.
then I learned that he knows radio, and then I started to listen to
He
him.
would come in with his, because we were the morning show. This was pre-you on the morning show. This was the Sedano edition. It is ironic that I got Sedano run off of that. I was part of that decision making, and now we're besties. But anyway. And Trudell would come in with his AirPods on. And one time I was like,
that was prepping for the show.
I was like, dude, can you take the AirPods out in studio? He's like, oh, I'm listening to so-and-so podcast double speed. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
I really didn't like
He
Trudell.
resented the fact that I was preparing to do my show for 3 hours.
Your ability to
wanted me to
like
screw
someone,
around.
dislike them, like them again, dislike them. Some you.
It's funny. Bergman said the same thing to me today.
You go around the track a lot of times.
I don't. I form an opinion pretty much right away and don't usually get taken off.
I'm more
it,
like
of
you.
an
But what's
individual.
funny,
like you.
and we'll get to the nudging here in a moment.
And the rabbits.
What's funny
Well,
about
hold on. I was going to say something rude about one of the people on the.
Go
Can I
ahead.
do that
Please do.
first?
I like that.
Please do.
Yeah, so I played a celebrity, or whatever, our ESPN basketball game.
Yeah, that's
many
right.
I
years
played in
ago.
that.
Yeah, which was fun. And this is where I learned that your fifth pick, Andy Kamenetsky, is not a good athlete.
No.
And he would say, and so there is no. I love Andy. We share a lot of musical tastes together. Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang, etc. But that's the fifth pick.
So
That's looking
Here's
rough.
what it's going to come down to, and Carlo Saisu is going to have to be part of this because Carlo is technically Parker's boss in this scenario.
Yes.
The Let Parker Play hashtag that's up on the board if you're watching it on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. You're saying Trudell needs to play.
Yes.
Others would say Parker needs to play.
Both of them.
Okay.
Both of them, and they both need to be on the same team.
So if Parker, then somebody has to kind of fill his role from a social media standpoint that day. He also helps us on the broadcast by being like sort of the sideline reporter.
Mm-hmm.
If Trudell is off and now
I
playing,
haven't said that. I haven't committed to that. I've committed to you on the broadcast.
I appreciate that, doll.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. then I got to handle all of Michael. I don't have a Pepe cut.
You'll be fine.
Michael?
Yes.
He's all over the place.
Oh, I wonder what that's like.
Well, it's different when I'm the one doing it. But I have to.
It's fine when I do it, but when someone does it to me, I don't like it.
I don't want to. I don't want to be a receiver. I want to be
Travis,
the giver.
I understand your deal.
He wanted me to come in the morning.
He's the cutter.
Not prepare for my show, just screw around with him, do whatever he wanted to do in his office.
Bits.
And I'm like, I've got 3 hours with Michael. Like, I'm preparing the show right now. That's what I'm doing.
You're telling me this like I'm unfamiliar with this dynamic? Like I haven't experienced this exact thing myself?
That made me uptight.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, wanting to be ready makes you a tight ass. Exactly.
Hey, I was very prepared on Friday when I had to do the show with Cappy. I prepped like hardcore.
I will say, being in this chair.
That's the job.
Well, not by a lot of our teammates here, you wouldn't know. I'm not knocking anybody specifically. But.
I know you. Well, you are, but that's a whole other. Being prepared is fine, Mike. Do your deal.
Well, that's what's
and
fun to
play
come
center
in
field on our softball team.
So you'd have him in center field?
Yeah, because Mario's going to play short. Mario does a good job at
so
short.
So are you booting? So okay, let's say
I'm not playing if I don't get to be shortstop. That's.
Oh, really?
Anyway.
That's your thing.
I feel like you'd be better suited as a center fielder.
Did you see when he did the booty drop video a few weeks ago?
Yes.
Trey, I'll do it real quick. Do it real quick. Do the booty drop.
You can look it up.
You can't do it for me?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
Well, I'm not. I was limber by that point. That was like 5 p.m.
Because you filled out those shorts nicely.
Yeah, thank you. But it's all over the socials. I think it's actually.
Why are you so adverse to playing the outfield?
Because he wants to be able to get down.
I'm just messing around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So are you gonna? If you get him and potentially Parker, are you booting people or are you just adding to the roster?
We're adding.
Okay. Boot me.
Yeah. And look, if Emily, if you would like to be booted, then she can be booted. But she is the mush. She's what? Are you the only person that's never won?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's
a pretty significant,
and I've never done
tilting
anything
of the
at all
factor
to
cap
help
or
the
whatever.
team, nor hurt the team necessarily.
Fact: if Emily is on your
Emily,
team,
do you want to do the broadcast?
You will lose.
No.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like that would be fun.
Will
you
she
on the
cut
broadcast.
Michael enough?
She would cut Michael tremendously for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I can be talked into it.
Parker could play anywhere. I think Parker would be an adept addition. I'm happy to step down. I'll be a designated hitter.
Okay, so we've got a special guest coming up at the top of the hour, which means that bunny content and nudging might have to get moved to about 11:15.
Uh-oh.
The great Oral Hershish is joining us.
Indeed.
You think you're going to, as you sit here in your Ohtani jersey, and you looked like a child on Christmas morning in that picture from Dodger Stadium yesterday on the socials?
I get criticized a lot for being the guy that thinks everything sucks, for being the buzzkill.
You are.
I'm not. That's
No,
wrong.
no.
That's inaccurate. I had such a wonderful time last night. It was so fun
Oral.
to be there.
Hi, Oral.
It was so good. I'm excited to talk to Oral. Dodger Stadium was crackling last night.
That one inning. One inning.
Well, but
and in the fifth inning when they started to pound him.
And then he hit.
But that one inning of him pitching is what I'm saying.
Yes.
And I watched it. I switched from the NBA Finals to that because in that setup where I was yesterday, I didn't have two TVs to switch. And I could have gone phone, but I didn't. I was just like,
it was
Thunder are going to win this, so I'm going to good.
It was as electric an atmosphere in a game that the outcome of the game didn't matter all that much that I've ever seen in my entire life. We'll talk with Oral about it. He joins us next. Trudell's in for DeMarco at 710 ESPN.
The biggest show on the radio.
Mason in Ireland today at noon after Travis and DeMarco.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really rough team. I have no idea how Cappy ended up with a team. And by the way, I like every person individually on his team. They just aren't good at softball.
Do you not like somebody individually on your team?
Yeah, there's one person there.
The OGs of LA Sports Talk.
Mason in Ireland on 710.
Go! Oh, well. Now your top reasons to visit Morongo.
Get a portable 9-band radio with flashlight when you earn 500 points on your rewards card. The 23rd.
Number 2.
Drew Baldridge, July 24th.
And the number 1 reason.
We're lighting up the sky at the Summer Bash. Celebrate the start of summer with a dazzling fireworks display. The 27th at 9 p.m.
Morongo. Good times.
NextGen is the official heating, plumbing, and electrical company of SoCal sports fans and is the absolute best in the biz with thousands of 5-star reviews to prove it. Get ready to beat the summer heat with NextGen. For a limited time, enjoy a free whole home air cleaner with any new AC installation. Call 833-3NEXTGen. That's 833-3NEXGEN to book your appointment. CSLB number 1011173. NextGen, here for you now and for years to come.
NEXGEN. Call 833-3NEXTGen.
Big on protein, rich on flavor. The new $10 Islands Restaurant's protein bowls are here for a limited time. Packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients for the flavors you love. Just in a bowl. Find your protein paradise at islandsrestaurants.com.
30 years ago, Wu-Tang Clan changed hip-hop forever. Now, it's time for the Final Chamber. Live in Los Angeles, Wu-Tang Clan, together, live on stage, the beginning of their final tour. Live this Sunday at Crypto.com Arena with Run the Jewels. Get tickets now at WuTangClan.com. Wu-Tang Forever, the Final Chamber. Produced by AEG Presents.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
710 ESPN.
KSPN, Los Angeles.
A Good Karma Brands radio station. And yes, welcome to the Travis and DeMarco Show. Now mornings, 9 a.m. to noon on 710 ESPN. Your destination for LA sports. Let's get back to the fellas. The Travis and DeMarco Show continues right now.
Recorded me into live me. It's a live imaging Tuesday on the Travis and DeMarco Show. Mike Trudell, a man who's part of the fabric of this radio station, sitting in for DeMarco Farr. The great Oral Hershiser, a man who I worshipped in 1988 as a child. He was my hero. And I've said this to his face. I will not rest until he is in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. He's going to join us in just a moment here on the Travis and DeMarco Show. I believe he might be phoning in right now.
I believe he is.
And he'll talk to you about the greatness of one Shohei Ohtani. And you looking like a 6-year-old getting his first transformer in that picture you posted at Travis Rogers on social. Both your accounts are the same thing, at Travis Rogers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, on Instagram. You posted that picture. You looked so happy.
You
looked so skinny. You looked like that in your Ohtani jersey the way I looked in my Oral Hershiser jersey when I was 5 years old, because I was born in 83. And Oral had the greatest season ever. That's why he should be a Hall of Famer, and he's going to join us now on the Travis and DeMarco Show.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. How are you feeling, Oral?
I'm doing great.
So what'd you think of it last night? Chris was just kind of teasing me there a little bit about how excited I was to see Ohtani. I was telling Mike Trudell, who's in for DeMarco today, I don't know if I've ever been to a game in the middle of the week, in the middle of June, where it felt like it did last night in the ballpark at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, Ohtani, so what did he do? Just kidding. The hits were awesome. I was glad that he pitched and still got some hits because that bat is, so important to the team. But as far as the pitching, I think, you see the stuff. You saw the command was slightly off at times. You saw the check swing from Machado that probably could have bailed him out of the inning where he didn't give up a run and would have protected his pitch count. So I think all in all, it was a really successful night as far as the arm was concerned and the pitching. And, of course, through this whole thing, all the way through the end of this season, it's going to completely be about how does he feel the next day. We're going to talk about the performance. We're going to cheer the performance. We're going to be on the edge of our seat watching the best two-way player ever and maybe one of the best players ever to put on a uniform. But it's all going to be about the future as far as how does he feel the next day.
Earl, we were talking earlier in the show, thinking about his mechanics. And after you have the second Tommy John, does there need to be some kind of change to reduce the extension and the load on the elbow and how that impacts velocity, how that impacts spin rate and just the angle? Can you get technical a little bit with just what you know about the arm, like what he goes through, and then what you saw from the actual product and the ball coming off of his arm, off of his fingers?
Well, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and the ligament is one of the weaker links in the body, no matter who you are. If you're Ohtani or you're somebody else, a 12-year-old kid, and the stress on the elbow is going to be a lot, no matter what arm angle you're throwing. But your mechanics do help that stabilize it, put less stress on it. Having a little more weight helps because ground force production helps. I thought his mechanics looked great, but you can't move something. When you break a Ferrari, right, it breaks quicker because it's going at 160 miles an hour for some reason, or 200 miles an hour. And when you're a St. Bernard and you're just kind of trotting along, you're not breaking anything because when you're slightly out of whack, there's not enough pressure on the areas to hurt you. So it's really hard to throw 98 to 102 miles an hour and have every weakest link stay strong and be perfect and not get hurt. You can analyze till the cows come home, and we have elbow surgeries all over baseball, from Little League all the way up to the big leagues, and then to guys that are young in the big leagues, to guys who are old in the big leagues, to guys who have had them once, twice, and 3 times. And it's just, pitching is not completely a very easy thing to do, and it causes stress in certain areas, and we know probably the number one stress has been on the elbow and on the shoulder.
Oral Hershiser joining us here. We're talking about Shohei Ohtani's Dodger debut on the mound yesterday. And Oral, even somebody that's pitched as much as Ohtani has and pitched at a really high level the way that he has, and obviously he can strike guys out, is that kind of the last thing to come back when you're coming back from a long layoff? It's the first time he'd pitch in 663 days. That ability to finish hitters off, because we saw him I think he got to a full count in 5 of the 6 guys that he faced, but Machado the check swing, but he wasn't able to punch a guy out. Is that just a little bit of rust that will eventually go away and he'll look like Ohtani all over again when it comes to finishing?
Yeah, I mean, that's your analyzing result instead of execution, right?
Yeah.
So the execution is my execution fine enough to look like a strike, end up a ball, and get a chase? Is my execution great enough to have the ball either go at a certain velocity in a perfect location in the strike zone to strike a guy out looking, or is it good enough stuff to have good movement and velocity in the strike zone, get a swing and a miss? So, no, it's all about execution. And yeah, is it different when you first come back? Oh, it's way different. And he's held to such high standards. Like, he's supposed to walk on water the first day he goes out there. And when he pitches on the mound, there'll be no holes when he leaves it. It'll just be perfectly manicured still. It's like, no, he's not Jesus of pitching. But it's amazing that, he can go out there and do what he's doing. And this is a long-term calculation to make sure that he's available in the most important innings of the year, which are probably going to be in September and October. And so this whole schedule, as far as could he have pitched sooner? Oh, I think he could have pitched last year. But his bat is so valuable. And when we were talking about stresses, like Mike asked me to get technical, the stress of pitching and the stress of hitting and the stress of practicing pitching and the stress of practicing hitting and the stress of working out as a pitcher with those movements and working out as a hitter for those movements, he's compounding the equation as far as the risk. And so then we know that when healthy, he is an MVP hitter, DH, and probably could play the field in a most amazing place. He's got the right fielder's arm. He's got the height for and eye-hand coordination and glove work for a first baseman. He probably could play third. He probably could play short like Cal Ripken. He could probably play any position, except you wouldn't want to put him behind the plate and add to the risk. So it's the bar's so high for him that we expect him to go out there and just immediately be amazing. But this is all about the calculation. Because he is so good and can impact a possible world championship, it has to be calculated to the point to put him in the most important innings and the most important at-bats and be healthy.
I was feeling a little bit for him as you were describing all the stuff that he has to do, just thinking not as much time for ping pong or, like watching shows or just kind of hanging out. What he's doing, he's breaking down everything. I do want to ask you one more question about pitching, though, Oral. Just thinking about in your day, right, a lot of starters, especially a great one like you, or you're thinking of a Greg Maddux, who are going, expecting to go 7 to 9 innings a game. Like, is there any difference in an expectation for Shohei where a lot of pitchers now, you don't even want to have them see the same hitter 3 times, especially if you have the bullpen like the Dodgers are going to have with the arms back? Like, how do you think that goes into the future? Does the second Tommy John impact it? What about the innings count and kind of what the expectation should be for Shohei to be optimized as a pitcher moving forward?
Yeah, I think there's some abstract numbers out there as far as how many innings, how many pitches. But again, it's going to come back to how does he feel? Because if he comes out of an outing, let's say he gets up to, let's say, 3 innings and 60 pitches for some reason, and he comes out of it and he's just okay, and he's got a little tenderness, and it's normal pitcher tenderness, but you want him to be DH because it's a big series. Now you're making a calculation according to the bat and the body and the pitch count, and then you're getting through that, which is the next few at-bats and the next few days as a DH. If it's 3 days, 5 days with an off day, you're getting through the workouts, you're getting through the chiropractics to make sure he's balanced, you're getting through the massage therapy, you're getting through all the different things, the cardio, and at every point you're evaluating. Back in my day, we evaluated everything. It was being charted. It is charted and evaluated at a much higher level now, but it is a constant maintenance, constant how do you feel, constant this is what. But the conclusion or the thing that has changed from my generation to this generation is the configuration of the roster and the configuration of what you're expected to do according to game theory. And game theory is the starting pitcher is probably worse than the worst pitcher on your team third time around the order. The starting pitcher then is called on to train for 5 or 6 innings because that's approximately when the third guys are going to come around. And so now the roster's been expanded to 13 pitchers. In my day, it was 10. You've got 3 extra guys to cover those innings. Those guys are not responsible for 2 to 4 innings or 3 to 5 times a week to be out there. They're responsible for 1 inning or a few batters, and then the inning changes and they don't have to go back out there for the third batter. So the whole equation of what you're called on to do and then what you train to do is completely different. And it's all about game theory and roster configuration and how the game is played. And so Shohei and the other pitchers, but Shohei in particular, is being called on to do these things, and they are monitoring it as we go. But the top end is going to be 5 or 6 innings, and it might not be for him because of coming back from a second Tommy John, because of a late start, because you want him to stay healthy all through the whole year, and because he's a DH MVP that you won a world championship with.
Oral Hershiser joining us here. Mike Trudell is in for DeMarco today. Oral, I sat with some of your teammates from Legends Attic last night, Eddie, Christian, and some guys. You guys are headed to New York for FanFest. They were telling me a little bit. Are you going on the trip as well? I am going on the trip. Yeah, we leave. The crew goes out a day early for me to set up because this is like the largest, memorabilia convention in the world, and we have a very close relationship with Fanatics, and then we have a great relationship with Topps, and our store out there in Claremont, Legends Attic is a place where people come, and you've been there so many times, and they come and they say, well, how can you not charge an appearance fee or a fee to come in? And we're like, no, this is about the fans and our relationship with the fans. And if you end up buying something, that's great. If you end up just enjoying all the displays and memorabilia that we have and stuff, museum stuff of my stuff, then enjoy that and go home and tell your friends. And so we're headed to New York, and we've got like 3 major booths, and Dave Hobrick, our artist, is being on display. He's actually going to be doing live art. We're going to unveil the Art of the Signature, which is a new few different products that we have where Dave will do a painting, and we'll cover it, and then we'll have the athlete throw their particular ball with painted balls, painted footballs or baseballs or basketballs at the painting, and now that the athlete is actually part of the painting and doing the art. We also have these items called bricks, which are unbelievable great portraits on a large frame brick. But I'm talking a brick is probably, I should know the right measurements, but 3 by 1 almost, 3 foot by 1,
high and 30 inches wide. And the only reason I know that is because we scolded one of our employees yesterday about memorizing the size of our bricks. Well, I didn't even know the answer, and I'm an owner.
So what do you think you'll get for the brick with my signature and face on it? How much does that go for at Fanatics Fest?
It's going to be higher without the face, but the signature. They're pretty cool. I did the demo or the first one, and the idea came from when I went to scout Shohei in Japan. In Japan, they ask you to sign autographs. When we were there, I was there with Andrew Friedman and some of our scouts and my wife, and we went over for a week and followed Shohei around to watch him hit and pitch. And at the time, he couldn't even do side works barely. We saw one side work, and it was probably one of the top 5 sliders I've seen, and he was probably at 80% and needed Tommy John surgery. But so they ask you to sign these pieces of large pieces of cardboard. They're about 12 by 12. They're rimmed with like a gold film on the outside, and they're like a painter's canvas. And in their broken English, as they're asking me to sign an autograph, they're saying, sign big, sign big. And so I would sign really big across this whole 12 by 12 card, and that's how they collected autographs. And so I came back and talked to Dave Hobrick, our artist, and told him about this, and he started daydreaming and talking about this, and he goes, I got it. And so he comes back with this thing of my portrait on the side, and then in that 10 by 30 piece of canvas, it's a beautiful autograph. So the autograph is a good 6 to 8 inches high, and it's done by me, and it's done by all the athletes, and it's done in a way that it's probably about 18 inches long, and the portrait is 10 inches high of you, and it's probably about 8 inches wide. And it's a really cool item. I mean, we're going to do we have the originals, of course, that the artists and that Dave does, and then the athlete signs, but then we also have prints. So, not everybody can afford an original, and the originals are going to go from, let's say, anywhere from $700 to $5,000, depending on the unbelievable athletes we have. But the prints are going to be affordable for everybody, and they're so cool. So I'm not even going to have originals in my house because I would rather sell them to somebody that's going to enjoy them. And I know that the originals are in somebody's house where they really are enjoying it. I'll have a print, but I don't hang stuff up of myself in my house. I would rather hang stuff up of Gibby or Soch or
Travis,
other guys. Travis, of course.
Morales definitely
and
has
once
stuff
I get to know
hanging.
Mike,
Yeah.
I'll get one of Mike for sure.
No, it's fine. Yeah, well, Morales has plenty of Oral Hershiser stuff from back in the day up in his house still. We got to get it. We got to get him a fat head.
Yeah, that's old school. This is kind of like
hey, don't be bringing up competing products.
No, this
Let's
is the
go.
more artistic, elevated version of that. Oral, thanks for coming on. I got one more quick one for you before I let you go.
Yeah,
and what makes Shohei is that he does both things, and he does them both at a high level. We saw what him fully committed to a season of offense would look like. It was 50-50. It was an MVP. What would a season fully committed to pitching look like? Assuming full health, assuming him sharp, what does that look like?
Well, so we've downgraded the value of a W, right? A win. Not when the team wins, but the contribution to a win is more important than getting the W next to your name. But I think he would go deep into games and have an opportunity to win 20 games. Not that winning 20 games is the ultimate to say you had an amazing season. Nowadays, 15 wins, 13 wins can be an amazing season because of all your peripherals of how you helped your team win. And maybe your offense just didn't get the runs early enough, and the Dodgers are the best comeback team in all of baseball. So a lot of the wins come from the 7th inning on, and even the 6th inning on. And I got another one for you if you got time.
Yeah.
But so with him, I would say an ERA under 3 would be very easy if he was full strength. And I would even think that you could have an ERA under 2.5 from him full strength and locked and loaded only being a pitcher. I think that, the innings total could be over 200, which is a line of demarcation now where it used to be 300. But it's only about opportunity, not about ability that they don't get there. And I think that, over a strikeout an inning for sure, and a walk rate, because his mechanics are going to be as meticulous as Yamamoto's and some others, like a Greg Maddux, I think the walk rate would be, his strikeout to walk rate would be somewhere in the 5-1 to 6-1 possibly. And he would dominate. He would completely dominate. And, the only thing you'd worry about is, how do you feel tomorrow?
Right.
How do you feel tomorrow, big guy?
Yeah, well.
It's Roger Clemens. It's a power pitcher with an unbelievable breaking ball that has pristine mechanics and would have unbelievable location.
Right.
But the one thing going into the night, my second thing that popped in my head, because we're talking about workload and pitchers, is that when the Dodger bullpen, which is a bullpen game tonight, when the Dodger bullpen pitches less than 4 innings, their ERA is over 4.5. When their bullpen pitches more than 4 innings, their ERA is just over 3.5. And when the bullpen takes down 7 or more innings, their ERA is 2.5.
Crazy.
So don't worry if you're a fan and you go out there and you go, it's a bullpen game, or the bullpen came in early. They perform better when they come in earlier and take down more innings. And the reason is then the deployment is better to the better pitchers. And the deployment is at a rate of we must be winning. So it's a much better thing when Dave Roberts and Mark Pryor and Andrew Friedman up top and the guys up top can plan out a game against a lineup with the arms that they have and go out there and you see a different name all the time, but don't sit there and worry about them. Think about wow, what a bullpen.
We got a glimpse of it for the first time in a Dodger uniform last night. Shohei Ohtani on the mound. Oral Hershiser is headed to New York for Fanatics Fest. Oral, always great to catch up with you. Thanks so much.
All right, see you, Travis. See you, Mike.
Thanks, Oral.
I could listen to him talk about the pitching all day long. Just, by the way, did you hear he compared him to? Greg Maddux and Roger Clemens. Is that a nudge?
That was a nudge.
That's awful.
What? What do you mean? It's a very. You feel very connected to the person that's nudging you.
Let me read something. Do you know a high school senior who's a
gonna
leader,
nudge me
a
back.
scholar, and an athlete? I really hope not, and I hope I'm not here to see it.
Oh, it'll happen.
Nominate him at ESPN LA and the
We're gonna
All-Star
pry your eyes
Student
open.
Award presented by my friends at Rotolo Chevrolet. There are 5 winners. Each winner will receive a $500 scholarship. You'll get VIP treatment at our All-Star Friday night event. So nominate your All-Star student today at ESPNLA.com. Thanks to Rotolo Chevrolet, the #1 Chevy dealer in the West region in California, 13 years in a row. Come see what the fun is all about at Rotolo Chevrolet. I guess we're going to do nudging and rabbits when we
Just
come
don't
back.
close your eyes because it'll mean something.
Yeah, that was upsetting. I didn't like that. Trudell's here for DeMarco on 710 ESPN.
The most followed sports radio station in the world.
In the world. That's right. In the world.
710 ESPN.
You know it.
Yeah, tell your friends.
At ESPN Los Angeles on Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch.
We're naturally entertaining.
Yes.
LA's mega sports station. 710 ESPN.
It was unsettling.
Don't navigate the legal system alone. Hey, it's Travis. At the personal injury law offices of Joseph S. Normand, they will fight tirelessly to get you the max compensation you deserve. Joe and his team understand the emotional and financial toll that an injury can take on you and your life. Call 213-747-2000 or visit normandlegal.com. The law offices of Joseph S. Normand have helped thousands of people like you recover millions of dollars in settlements and verdicts. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000. Your recovery is their priority.
Waba Grill is an LA original, so we've got to keep it real. Real fresh with our Asian-inspired menu that's grilled to order every time.
Pick me up and never put me down.
Real quality with our marinated proteins like hormone-free chicken, ribeye steak, wild-caught salmon, and shrimp. Enjoy $5 happy hour weekdays after 3 p.m. with our 5-piece pork veggie dumplings and a value-sized premium beverage drink like our creamy and delicious Thai tea. Waba Grill. Keeping it real every day for you.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. If you're ready to upgrade your driving experience, you gotta go and check out what's happening at Cadillac and their incredible new lineup of state-of-the-art EVs, sedans, and SUVs. And hey, look, there's no better place to experience the luxury of Cadillac than at Cadillac of Beverly Hills. Check out Cadillac of Beverly Hills and their beautiful showroom at 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. And check them out on the web at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
Hey, it's Mace. In tough times, a lot of people find themselves owing money to the IRS. It can really weigh you down, and you're confused about the right way to handle it. And all those scary ads on the radio about the IRS, they don't help. Tax relief advocates want you to relax, knowing that whether you owe $5,000, $50,000, $500,000 in tax debt, you don't have to fear the IRS another day. TRA has a proven 3-step tax resolution process, plus they're experts at working with special programs available from the IRS to help taxpayers get back on track. Easy to see why they have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. If you owe money to the IRS and feel trapped, don't lose hope. Tax relief advocates could reduce or even eliminate your debt. End your tax nightmare today. Simply visit TRA.com or call 800-575-1482. That's 800-575-1482. Again, 800-575-1482.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MBA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
11:23 on a live Imaging Tuesday. The Travis and DeMarco Show. Mike Trudell sitting in for DeMarco. Thanks to the Bulldog, Oral Hershiser, for joining us. What now?
Just sorry, old dirty bastard.
We're doing the Trudell bit today.
Yeah.
It's great.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And then I was going to say something I can't say on the air, but shame on not that, but the song lyrics or anyway. Just thanks for playing the beat. Okay, it's supposed to be in a good mood. It's supposed to be in a good mood. Thank you, Jorge.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
hey, hold on.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you get that one going in a while.
It doesn't move like it used to.
Well, there's not as much of it.
Not just that, but also
there was like a certain amount of what's that? A body in
I
motion
had a lot of
tends
junk
to
in the
stay
trunk.
in motion.
No.
There was a lot of physics before. Now it's
I still
just
got a little
normal.
junk, but I got a lot of bone.
Yeah, bone in the trunk.
My knee. It's just again. I'm still heavy by a lot of people's calculation.
No, but you look good though.
But I've lost 100 pounds from when I went into the emergency room, which I had put on a lot of water weight. But the point being, I feel very bony and not as strong. Like Tony, strong like Bull. I don't feel as strong like Bull anymore. But so whatever.
Watch the one where Philly had a heart attack the other day.
And Tony grabs his hand?
Yeah. I went somewhere. I haven't told anybody this.
I get it.
There's enough to go around. Nobody ever thought about no-show jobs on places like this.
And then guess what? Then it goes mayhem. They come back and it's
just
mayhem.
about to get crazy.
Sounds like you do have some TV time, Travis.
Yeah,
I watch old TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll rewatch shows for sure.
Oh, that's all I do.
Yeah.
When I'm not here and I'm in the home office, it's just Succession playing in a loop all day long.
I could use a Succession rewatch. It's been about long enough. I was thinking about a Game of Thrones full rewatch.
Oh, I did that recently.
It's been off the air.
Was
long
it as
enough now.
enjoyable the second time around?
100%.
Yeah. Did you? Or you're not a Game of Thrones guy?
No,
I'm not either.
I tried to watch one episode. It was too dark for me. I was like, and I mean
Try
dark
again.
like color wise.
Yeah.
Like the TV, because I was just.
There's
like,
no brightness.
No.
That's far from true.
No. The actual. I've never seen it, but
No, there's plenty of brightness. They shoot
Go to
half of it
Dorne.
like in Croatia on the ocean. Yeah.
If you're in King's Landing or in Dorne, you're
Yeah.
good.
Well, everybody knows that.
Yeah, of course. But Trudell, I stopped after season 5. I was like, I'm going to go through the good seasons and then not do the bad
I spent a lot of years back when it was actually on convincing Ireland to watch it because he was like, "Well, there's a dragon in it. I'm not watching if there's a dragon."
I
I'm like,
agree. I
it's
agree
not
on
a
the dragon
dork. It's not a
premise.
dork show. Trust me, you would like
but
it.
I
A lot
don't-
of it's about sex. You would like it.
No,
There's
actually,
plenty of other
oddly
places
enough,
for
oddly
that.
enough, I don't like a lot of sex in television because to me, unless it's really impactful to the story, I just think it's kind of gratuitous.
It's not superfluous. No, you could just.
By the
trust
way,
me.
did you watch the latest episode of Stick?
I have.
So I was going to text you the other night, but it was late and I didn't want to bother you.
Zero's on my nerves. Zero's got to get
exactly.
out of there.
They are ruining
Get
the
out.
show with like this other thing that doesn't need to be there.
So Zero is the love interest of the kiddo, and they're just the worst versions of Gen Z.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, let's take Gen Z and whatever you would say about Gen Z and the politics behind it and make the character on steroids. And it's like, It's just kind of like, okay.
Feels like an adult, like a 50-year-old adult writing
Right.
as if
Watch,
they think
watch
they are
out.
Gen Z.
Watch out.
Well, it doesn't affect you, Travis. You're 80, so it's as if someone who's writing about
Right.
a Gen Z person.
It's like if Family Guy did a bit about what a Gen Z person, where they're so over the top.
But it's not a bit.
And here's the other thing, like in Owen Wilson's character and what he's invested into this project, this kid in 24 hours wouldn't just change his life. It's just not. This last episode made me go, maybe not.
Are you out?
I'm not out, but I was definitely disappointed because I had been waiting for it.
I've not seen this show, but what you're describing to me is the moment where I quit a lot of shows, where you have a character.
Well, isn't
or
that the
something-
bit? 3 episodes. Like if you said that, Em, that if you don't get up past the 3 episode hump, the first 3 got me in.
Yeah.
This is the 4th, and I'm kind of like,
But will you quit a show? I quit shows all the
I quit
time.
Game of Thrones after 1. I don't really quit shows. I kind of am like, yeah, I'll watch it.
I don't
I'll
like
quit
to,
'em
I
all
don't
the
like to
time.
quit a show, but it'll just increase the amount of time that I'm doing something on my phone while it's on.
Yeah.
If I'm
Right,
not
right,
into
right.
the
Oh,
show.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Friends and Neighbors.
Watch it.
I love it.
I've only seen the first episode, and I really liked it.
It's
It
good,
gets-
good, not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It gets a little campy for my liking, where it's a little hard to believe. So here's what I would say about the first episode, and I don't think this is too much spoiler alert, but the decision he makes, and I say this as somebody who has been currently involved with somebody I
With
work
crime?
with.
Oh.
No, not that we want
Okay,
to talk
I thought
about.
you were talking about that
And
part.
have been involved with people I work with in the past at other companies. The decision he makes in that moment, which kind of leads to everything, I don't think he would make that decision. Being in where he's at,
You talking about the opening scene in the bar?
yes, and the decision he makes to do that.
Yeah.
It's a big company. I don't know.
He didn't even know who she was.
No, I'm with
No,
Emily
he
on
did
this one.
because she said, "Hey, I work at this place."
But
Right.
I work at this place where there are presumably hundreds of
But
employees.
you're enough of an executive that the CEO is coming after you. I would be like, you know what? Great to see you. And know in my head, I got to get out of here and maybe go pay for it or find it somewhere else.
Don't
instead
you know
of,
where you eat in that?
in
respect?
that sense, he's a powerful enough player in that world to where why would you even give a chance?
I like the rich guy stuff.
The rich guy stuff's great.
I like the houses.
The problem
I like
at
the
the-
circles
the
he runs
problem
in. I
towards
like
the
all
end-
that stuff.
So
And I
here's-
like him. I like John Hamm.
So here's the problem. Towards the end or the final episodes of the season, there's less rich guy stuff.
Oh.
So Travis,
Well, then
too,
I won't get there because
No, you'll get there.
I'll quit.
to look forward to. I think that Ham is both good at tennis and good at golf.
Yes.
And so there are both instances where he does both, and I
It's a
think he's
must.
pretty good at him.
All right. I'm in. I'm just Susan and I have been missing
Susan!
each other, so we gotta. It's a show I know she'll like, so I don't want to
Doesn't
get
he
too far
remind you
down
of
the
our
road.
old friend and our old GM, Scott McCarthy?
Ham?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
In this, the way the character's playing, like if Scott had to go rob people, he would look like John Hamm.
Scott seems like just a little nicer than that.
I've had a lot of nights with Scott McCarthy at his house. I think he'd do it.
It goes in the other way?
He'd
Yeah.
start
Oh.
robbing his friends.
I don't know if he'd rob his friends, but the other thing, yes.
And they won't miss these things.
Yeah, that's true. It's like I don't know if you can call it rob in that instance. It's kind of like when I
No, it's robbing.
Well, the first crime that I committed, I was working at a gas station with a car wash, right? And so I'm not getting my dad a car wash every day. I don't think was really a crime. You just press the code and it goes through.
Crime of opportunity.
But when I would go into stock the cooler, and it's like there are thousands of beverages back here. If I just drink this Mountain Dew right now, is it really going to be missed? Now it is a crime. But
if Mountain
is
Dew
that,
were Patek Philippe's, then yes, it's a crime.
No,
I've
well,
never been
that's what I'm
huge
saying.
fans of Patek Philippe's.
Hit
We
and
had
miss.
a
No, but
person
Travis-
that we worked with in
Yeah.
Houston that wore them all the time, and I always was unimpressed.
Hit and miss.
Yeah.
There are some that are amazing.
That's the example though. Like
Yeah.
now the stakes have gone up, right? With the but you're still you're taking it's Robin Hood. Like you're taking something. You're just the poor in that case. So you're feeding.
But he's
yourself.
trying to. He's not the poor. He just wants to continue to be the rich.
No, but that's
Yeah.
that's how much wealth though he's taking.
Because
from.
in the opening,
That's
when
my
he
point.
asked his business advisor, who's also his friend, how much do I have? And he says 6 months.
6 months.
If you want to live the way you want to live.
Right. That's 6 months at that level. He probably has 10 years if he changed drastically. If he just said, hey, everybody, this happened and we're changing right now.
Get a 2-bedroom apartment.
Because you and I have both been.
Get rid of the 10,000 square foot house.
Well, this is where you get into the succession stuff, though. Like, how much money does one person need relative to the masses?
But in Succession, it's always coming in. Everybody's a billionaire of the kids. You and I have both been unemployed from very nice lifestyles.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake once of continuing that lifestyle when I looked back and went, if I would have just immediately changed and gone and gotten a part-time job at Starbucks, I could have lived for a couple years versus 6 months.
It's really hard.
It is really hard, but sometimes you have to think in reality.
No, you're right. It's the right thing to do, but once you get used to a certain thing or things, it's hard to peel
in
it
order
back.
to get some certain jobs in certain circles like this character wants to get, you have to keep the Maserati. You
That
have
is
to keep
true.
up the airs
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
have all these things. Travis, wait until you get to the, this is episode 2 or 3, you get to the wine cellar.
I did see him start popping wine bottles from the one
there's a
side.
good, you'll like it.
goes
Yeah.
and takes someone else's wine. And it's a good scene.
By the way, the basketball scene would never happen.
That
It will.
I
But that- now we're getting
cringed
probably too inside
so
there.
much when that happened. I literally was watching it yesterday. And I was like, oh.
If it's a spoiler, don't tell me.
Yeah, I
But
won't tell.
what is it about the scene that you don't like?
So there's basically like guys start. It's not a spoiler. They start playing basketball,
Like pickup basketball?
Yeah, but there's a challenge to sort of like playing 1-on-1, and it basically if you can score on me,
Okay.
and it just the level that it rises to would not happen.
Is
in
it the
real
guy
life.
that was sleeping with his wife is involved in this scene?
Yeah, the former NBA player.
Yeah, but
okay.
it's like, it's not that much of a story. But basically,
Right.
like I'll give blank to anybody that can score on me.
Oh,
the type
okay.
thing. But like the type of guys that are trying, it wouldn't happen. But
Are you
we
going to
could do
ask
that
me
in
the
any show.
rabbit trivia next, Chris?
We'll do that next.
All right, rabbit trivia for whatever that means.
Do
Coming
we
up
have- do
next.
we have trivia?
It's also the
Rabbits?
NBA playoffs, the draft, free agency, and the offseason. Every moment of what the purple and gold on the biggest stage in history. We have your dose of what's next for the Lakers. Trudell, do not do that. Thanks to Pro Baller, the official energy drink of the Los Angeles Lakers.
That was
you and
nice.
I, you and I,
That he even caught me off guard
I
on that
gotta
one.
tell you,
That cold. That nose was cold.
You and I have not spent a lot of time, just the two of us.
Well,
this is like we talked about.
When you
It's the
did
first
it last
we did
time,
it.
I was freshly shaved.
I would have never imagined ever you do.
Well, that's because most of the time you see me, I'm just doing a very a sideline report on something.
I
That's
understand
why.
that, but
That's
just
why
kind of
for like
just having a
15
general
years of
sense
that.
of your ethos, that surprised me a
Yeah.
little bit.
Well, there's more than meets the eye.
I guess so, and I don't like what my eye saw. That was really deeply
Well, Chris,
disturbing.
We could do it to you, left and right.
No, thank you.
I wouldn't do it to you though. I know that he wants it.
Please don't. Appreciate
You know
it.
what I mean?
I
would
let
never
me,
do
let
that
me
to you.
be-
Enthusiastic
Let me
consent.
be
I would not do it to
unequivocally
Ireland.
clear. I do not want it.
There's nobody
I
else.
am saying no.
There's nobody else in
explicitly.
this building I would do that to, other than Morales.
It was unsettling.
Very unsettling. Trudell's in for DeMarco's. Travis DeMarco, 710 ESPN. You just heard my pal, Oral Hershiser. Got to spend some time with my pal, Eddie Alizadeh, last night. Of course, I met all these guys through Rotolo Chevrolet. These guys just know what's up. And, of course, Mike Capozio, he's running the whole show out at Rotolo Chevrolet. And they make sure that you have an experience like I've had an experience time after time after time where you just feel great about your time at Rotolo Chevrolet. You feel great about your purchase at Rotolo Chevrolet. Been driving Silverados for years. I've bought cars from Rotolo Chevrolet, and it just is the place. There's a reason they've won Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. It's because the customer service, second to none. Incredible selection, incredible pricing, but the customer service is what makes people come back time after time after time. So if you've been thinking about a Silverado, get on out to Rotolo Chevrolet. Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit. You can't miss it. And if Fontana is a little far, like maybe you're in Long Beach, you're on the west side, you're in the valley, go online, RotoloChevy.com. ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com, and make sure they know that Travis sent you in.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio.
That's Mason in Ireland.
Crazy. I was stupid and young and reckless. Stupid, young, and reckless. It's great
That
to be that
sounds
way
fun to me.
at some point, yeah.
Mason in Ireland. Weekdays at noon.
On 710 ESPN.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins yet? Because if you haven't, you're missing out on technology that changes how you think about shoes. First, these are not just regular slip-on shoes. They're not just a pair of loafers without laces. But what makes them different is the technology inside that lets you just step into into them. There's a built-in hidden shoehorn that slides your foot in, so they look, feel, and wear just like a pair of shoes you're used to. Except you don't have to bend down, struggle to put them on, or touch them. Try them at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
NextGen is the official AC, heating, plumbing, and electrical company of SoCal sports fans. And for a limited time, NextGen is offering $500 off any whole home water purification system. You may not know it, but our water here in SoCal contains pesticides, lead, forever chemicals, chlorine, and more. Call 833-3NEXTGen. That's 833-3NEXGEN. CSLB number 1011173. NextGen, here for you now and for years to come.
NEXGEN. Call 833-3NEXTGen.
Pacific Palms Resort, LA's Hilltop Hideaway and #1 work and play resort, provides opportunities for all travelers and locals. Enjoy restful accommodation, dine in the Red Restaurant with an expansive outside patio, or pamper yourself and relax at the spa. Hit the links at one of their 2 championship courses, the Babe and the Ike. Pacific Palms Resort is the perfect choice for a Los Angeles venue for your business meetings, weddings, and big events. Enjoy a beautiful staycation or family holiday at their Hilltop property. Book your stay at LA's #1 work and play resort today at PacificPalmsResort.com.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing a schedule, and responding to Jim's long emails. Leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Purple Wave Auction remains the trusted leader in online equipment auctions. What makes the difference is you. You are part of our growing global community that continues to trust Purple Wave with the equipment that builds and feeds America. This trust placed in us by our community, from construction to ag producers and fleet drivers, brings great equipment opportunities to their next owners. Join the Purple Wave community today. PurpleWave.com.
Prendido, las mujeres andan sin marido. Pásame la juca. Por lo norte con todo estamos frío.
11:39, 21 minutes in front of noon on a live imaging Tuesday on Travis and DeMarco show. Trudell sitting in for DeMarco. Mason in Ireland coming up at the top of the hour for Super Crosstalk. Is John still in Idaho at the compound? Oh, no, he's here.
He was yesterday.
He was yesterday, but I think he's here.
Is he back?
Well, because Michael and Pepe are coming in today, because for some reason they're not coming in tomorrow.
Okay.
So they're impeding on my real estate, which is fine because I enjoy them both. I like to give Pepe a hard time, and Michael and I like to team up on Pepe, and Pepe then gets really annoyed, which I enjoy.
I may have been wrong. That you can't hang with Michael for one softball game really surprises me.
I can hang with him. I might not want to.
Yeah, but do it anyway. We need Trudell on our team.
I'll say this. I have never spent time with Michael and regretted it after.
That's true.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true. Every Laker road trip is more fun because of this lunatic.
Well, you do a lot of great content in season when you guys are on the plane and everything.
I just think that people need to see some of the qualities of this unique human. You know, behind the scenes, the more Michael. Now, does it need to be controlled in a way?
Right.
Sure.
Directed.
Yeah, thank you. Directed is a better word than controlled in that context. But I will say Pepe has been taking some, on a couple of different text threads that I'm on, some great shots at Michael lately. So
But have you seen some of these Pepe pictures recently? Are you on that thread?
I'm not on that thread, but the way that, well, maybe. But the way
the
that
one with him with the backwards hat and the boombox?
Oh, I did see that.
And then there was one I screenshotted from his Insta story of him on the Luigi ride in Cars Land. It's incredible.
Well, who's on the Luigi ride? Pepe?
Oh, yeah. It's going to come back to haunt him because it was an amazing screenshot I took.
Well, you ganging up on him with Michael, I think he takes some of that and that aggression out in this text thread.
That's why if you walk into my office, you see the thing I wrote on my whiteboard, Project Suffocate. It's about just suffocating Pepe with bits.
I haven't seen them both in person since the last Laker game, so I'll look forward to that.
It's great. It's just great. Anyway, what's going on with sports?
What's going on with rabbits?
Oh, that's right, rabbits. So here's what happened. One day we were doing the afternoon show, and somehow Otis the rabbit, which is Stephanie's rabbit, Stephanie, my girlfriend, came up.
Stephanie.
And to show you the emotion, Stephanie actually posted on Father's Day that I'm a bun dad, which was very cute.
That is.
But Otis is my lock screen on my phone. Like, I have taken to Otis very much. She has her own room at Stephanie's house.
Otis is a female?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a long story. Stephanie thought
that
originally.
surprised me too.
Stephanie thought originally it was a male, and then it was confirmed a few days later it was a female bunny. And then she just kept the name because she was already there at that name. So it's fine. When I was getting sicker progressively, I couldn't sleep. And I especially couldn't sleep at Stephanie's because at home I would just get up and work in the middle of the night. I couldn't sleep because my heart was failing and all that stuff, and my insides were literally deteriorating. So I would get up after like an hour and a half of sleep. I didn't want to wake Stephanie, so I'd go to Otis's room and I would sit there. And the logic in my head at the time was that the anxiety was causing all this. So I would drink more, because that makes sense at 2 a.m.
Sure.
So I would drink more. And Otis would come jump on the couch, and I'd put on the West Wing, praying that I would fall asleep. And sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. But Otis, one time, it was, I will never forget it. It was about 4:30 a.m. on December 30th. And Otis looked at me and kind of tilted her head. And I said to her, and it was the first time I admitted, even to myself, I said, "I'm really sick, Otis. Something's wrong." And I hadn't said it out loud to anybody. I kept like, no, this is just this is what. And she just looked at me, and she kind of guarded me. And all the time now when she sees me, because there was a period of like a month and a half where she didn't see me in person because I was in the hospital, whatever. Then I came back, and she went right back into that position of kind of guarding me.
Hold on. She doesn't speak English, but she can understand it.
Well, animals can. They have a sense.
Just in case you were to clarify that for you, Travis. So
I'm following the story.
Okay, so anyway, Otis is very close to me for that reason. So we're talking about Otis on the air. And Trudell goes, "What do bunnies do?" And I go, "Oh, they're just like dogs. Like when I walk in the room, she runs around me. I pet her. They'll do little kisses, but you kind of have to go to them. Because remember, they're prey.
Yeah.
So bunnies, if she gets scared, she'll run into her little zones and stuff. I go, they nudge. And Trudell goes, "Oh, nudging sounds nice." So what did I do in the middle of it? I just got up and nudged him.
That's right.
And then 5 minutes later, he nudged me back. And even Sedano and Cap, who see a lot of antics with me, were like, "Oh, my God, this is not like Trudell to nudge me back."
It caught me by surprise.
I guess I really got to work on the difference between what you guys think of my on-air personality versus off, because that wouldn't shock all of my friends.
And then what came out, and I'll do this real quick because I know we got the dump coming up. So when you see somebody on Instagram and they have a pretty wife, and Mike has a pretty wife, Annie, your natural inclination, if they're a celebrity or something, is to follow their spouse. But when you work with that person and you've never met them and you have no personal connection, and even when I don't do that because I just feel like, well, if you want to connect with me, like it's not like why
do you follow Susan on Instagram?
I don't think you've ever tagged her.
I never have.
So I've never So if you press on an Instagram photo, you see who's tagged.
Right. Even I know that.
Right. So Cappy, who again has never met Annie, but knows Trudell, works with him, touches the tap thing, sees Annie, that she's tagged, and adds her.
Request, because she's
private
account. But the slight background to this is that
did Annie say to you, "Hey, Mike, what's this Scott Kaplan guy?"
Well, yeah. So the week prior, Cappy had forgotten that both my dog died a year ago and my father died a few years ago, and he had forgotten both of these things.
He didn't forget the dad part. He didn't know the dad part. To be honest.
He knew.
Oh, he did.
He claimed that he didn't know, but it had come up before.
Okay.
So he basically
this is on live air. He makes this reference. And Sedano is on camera and goes.
Yeah, it was just one of those, like it happens. It wasn't that big of a deal, but I
called him on it. You're like, "Yeah, my dad died."
Well, no, I mean, what was I guess I could have just let it float, but Sedano was kind of looking at me, and I was like, "Oh no, he passed." I wasn't like totally I wasn't playing it up too much, but Annie texted and I shared this with him. My wife texted, she's like, "You're going a little hard at him on this one." So so maybe that emboldened him,
made him think he had an in,
because he felt like that was okay. Well, look, she
thought he had an ally
in this way. Exactly.
Yeah.
So then when he requested, and then I thought, well, this will get us at least 2 hours on this Thursday or whatever. So I led the show
Did she accept the request?
Not at first, because she just for the bit essentially, but
she's acquiesced.
Well, yes. He is now an accepted follower,
and I have a feeling, knowing him, he slid into the DMs just to say hello.
No, I think that's the one part where he probably realized that was going too far.
And then he followed that up. It is very well known that Trudell has 3 boys, I feel like.
Yeah.
Riggs, who's got longer hair, was in a photo, and Cap said, "You've got a lovely daughter."
Yeah. Which, again, not like offensive. It's fine. But just like, no, he's a boy. He's got a little longer hair. We live out by the ocean in California.
But his name's Riggs. And I'm like, that's not an out.
Yeah, and so he
like Riggs from Lethal Weapon?
So just Riggs. I hadn't seen Lethal Weapon to know that there was the Riggs, but apparently some people told me after the fact that was like Mel Gibson's character.
Yeah.
Or there was the football player Tim Riggins.
From Friday Night Lights. Sure.
So that was the name when I was like, Riggins, but I don't want to name him after the dude from Friday Night Lights. So and he was like, what about just Riggs? I was like, I love it, Riggs.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was the genesis of it.
And Cappy thought he was a girl.
Cabby, he just kind of made it. And again, not the biggest thing, but something that we can at least get a couple hours on the radio to give him a hard time about.
That's what you do, right? That's how that goes.
Exactly.
ESPN LA 710 and Children's Dental Fun Zone present the T-Ball Tee-Off. It's part of ESPN LA's 4th annual All-Star Friday night, happening July 11th at the West Covina Sportsplex. Kids ages 7 to 12 can swing big and be part of the All-Star action. You can sign up right now, ESPNLA.com. Click on the T-Ball Tee-Off card and find up your designated age group. Sign up. Children's Dental Fun Zone. Sparkling smiles, happy kids. The Dump. Have you ever participated in the Dump, Trudell?
Never have.
First time for everything. It's next. Trav, Mike Trudell, 710 ESPN.
You never have to miss a moment of LA's mega sports station. Get the all-new ESPN LA app.
Just search ESPN LA in your App Store or Google Play.
Download, tap, and bam!
You got 710 ESPN in the palm of your hand.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
Hey guys, what's up? It's George Sedano. Waiting is never fun. Usually nothing good happens when you wait. My friend Jacob in the law offices of Jacob and Ronnie want to make sure you don't wait after an accident. Immediately after an accident, before talking to the insurance company, call Jacob, man. Jacob and his team will do all the work, make all the phone calls, handle the paperwork, set up the doctor's appointments, whatever the case may be. And when you speak to the insurance company first, it's a big mistake. Because you know why? They may later use your words against you. However, Jacob and his team, they'll guide you through the process, get you the compensation you deserve, and you don't have to pay Jacob unless he wins. Nothing out of pocket. Free. Gratis. So if you're injured in an accident, the first name, the first thought, the first call should be Jacob. Jacob, Jacob, Jacob. The consultation is free. That's right. Free. I told you. Gratis. Don't wait. Call Jacob 24 hours a day at 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB. Call him 844-24-JACOB or visit him online at calljacob.com.
Call Jacob.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sportsbook for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, your ultimate destination for all your sports and concert needs this summer. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every home run and thrilling comeback in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
I didn't know if my mic was on when I said that. Thank God.
It was not.
Good. That's good, actually.
Well, that would have been far from the most damaging thing you said.
That is true.
Just before the mics went out again.
10 minutes before 12 o'clock. Well, go ahead.
How many hot mic incidents have you had? Because you've been doing this a long
fewer
time.
than you would think.
I've had 0, actually. And because here's the thing. We've been having... So... Real quick, this is The Dump, the Travis DeMarco Show. Trudell in for DeMarco. We've been having an issue with the streaming kind of going hot mic at times.
Mm-hmm.
And not in here, but when you sign in remotely into Switcher, which is the program that makes it all happen, what are you doing?
I'm letting Pepe in.
No, don't let Pepe in.
No, I'm letting him in.
No.
There, you're in, Pepe. You're in. I let him in.
No.
He's in.
Scumbag.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you go into the software that
Clamato,
runs all this in your remote.
Yeah.
So I had to do it last week for the first time ever. The minute you get in, there's a mute option, and it shows you your level. So when you go in, and if you don't mute it, the way the software works in the social room is you're immediately put in and people can hear you. So I've said to George and Cappy, guys, just mute when you walk in because they can't control what happens.
Wait,
they can
mute on where?
On the switcher on your computer, the camera, but it also has volume.
Well,
and this is just a function of the software.
Sometimes if I do Sedano Cap, I'll pull that up and I'll hit the mute.
Right, to hit the mute.
But if you
Sedano
don't
and Cap have not hit the mute at times, and we've had quote hot mic. Nothing bad has happened, thank God. Except Cappy last week was talking to I think one of his kids saying oh yeah, the plumber's coming over, but first I got to set this up because Morales is coming over and he'll be mad if it.
And those two things are related. The plumber's coming over because what
Gotta be
Morales
prepared.
did.
So that was a hot mic moment,
yeah.
But Cappy and Sedano justified get very upset when this happens and yell at me, and I'm like, okay, it's a software thing, just hit mute. So honestly, as much as we think it may happen. It's never happened. It happened that one time when we were doing the morning show, and we went into the other room, and the other room was live on the air, remember? And it might be the only time that in that post-show recording session we didn't say a bunch of stuff that could get us fired. Oddly enough, that day we said nothing, but it all went out over the air. So we're lucky.
It's the number one fear of everybody that does this.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You mentioned a plumber, and speaking of the dumps.
The dump, yes. Today is the 31st anniversary of the O.J. Simpson chase.
Run, O.J., run! As many signs said that day in Los Angeles.
There is a great documentary, 30 for 30, called June 17th, 1994.
Before they did Made in America, O.J. Simpson, they did that documentary, which was a 30 for 30. It was incredible.
It's incredible for one, just the filmmaking of it all. There's no narration. It's just all live news footage of the moment. And the chase was taking place at the same time that the New York Rangers were having their Stanley Cup parade through the Tunnel of Champions or whatever that's called.
The ticker tape parade.
The ticker tape parade. Game 5 of the NBA Finals. The U.S. Open is taking place at Oakmont. And the World Cup had just kicked off in Chicago.
And the U.S. Open is important because that was Arnold Palmer's final U.S. Open, which made that day. Because, again, second day of a tournament, you would kind of go, is it that big of a deal? The reason why it was big deal is because Arnold Palmer probably wouldn't make the cut.
Miss the cut.
So.
And the whole thing, all of it got overshadowed when O.J. took off.
Yes.
Where that was when he became I forget the police officer's name, but O.J. Simpson is a fugitive from justice. He holds the press conference. And you, Mike, you said you were in the 6th grade?
Yeah, I think
something
so.
like
6th
that.
or 7th, yeah.
I literally graduated from college 3 days before. You've probably never heard me say this. My dad was on the flight from Los Angeles to Chicago with O.J. Simpson.
Amazing.
My folks lived in Chicago at the time, and so he took the red eye back to Chicago with him. And I said to him I was talking on the phone. I said, "Hey, did you hear?" And I was making a joke at the time. It was the day after we'd found out that Nicole Brown had been murdered.
Right.
And I said to my dad, joking at the time, the day after, did you hear that O.J. killed his wife? Right. And he goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm just kidding. But yeah, O.J.'s wife got murdered last night. He goes, O.J. was on my plane.
That's amazing.
And so I've had this unbelievable fascination with this story forever and ever, that it was 31 years ago. And I really do think there are certain moments that you will just never remember. And oddly enough, the O.J. Simpson car chase is right near the top of the list.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so that week, my dad's doing morning radio, and it's summertime for me, so I was very involved in the show. And I remember it just kind of being always on and in the TV in the studio. And again, this is the 90s, so it's not like we had multiple TVs. We had one TV in the studio that was usually on morning news and them talking about it on that Monday. And then through the week that OJ was kind of becoming a suspect, and then the famous scene of him being cuffed in his backyard, and it was like, wait a minute, that's the Hertz guy. That's OJ from Naked Gun. That's the USC Trojan. And then he ran, and it was like, oh. And I since have talked, I worked with Bob Costas for a couple years when he was doing his Costas on the radio. And Bob, who's very smart and comes off very smart and takes pride in being very smart, says that OJ called into the switchboard and got to Bob, and none of them suspected that he would ever be involved until that moment where it was like, wait a minute, why would you do that if there wasn't something behind it? And they were all stunned at NBC, and everybody loved OJ. Everybody loved OJ.
It's hard to imagine a time where he was, like you said, Chris, a beloved individual. He was a comedic actor. He was funny. He was on the NBC pregame show. That he was the great running back from the Bills in USC.
And you don't want to try to name a modern equivalent because you don't want to put that.
There's only one.
There's only one. I thought I literally didn't want to name one.
No, I'm going to name one because to try to put it in context for people that don't know who OJ was at the time, there's only one person, and not that he would ever do something like this, but that is pretty much liked by everybody, was a great player, has had a second act as something other than what they were when they became a famous athlete, be Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
And Barkley would be like, wait, no, not Charles. No.
Right.
And that was exactly the reaction.
I think that's a great comp. I think Michael Strahan, because Michael Strahan has done movies and does TV, maybe. But, I think the Barkley comp is great. It's funny, every time Travis and I, because we usually carpool to Riviera for the tournament, for Tigers tournament, we didn't this year because of the fires. Every time we make that turn, I always say to him, look at, because we'll go by where Rockingham, where OJ's house was, and it's no longer standing.
What's the freeway again?
No, you're on Sunset, and you turn onto You go by Rockingham.
You're headed west on Sunset, and you make a right onto Rockingham.
To go up to Riviera.
Yeah.
And I always go, there's Rockingham, and there's where OJ's house used to be. And I always go, imagine his life. He went 5 minutes up the road to Riv, probably at least 3-4 times a week. Who knows if he was even really a member?
Probably not.
Probably not, because everybody loved OJ. So having OJ to the club, play, hang out with Al Michaels, have this great life, and he decided to make a decision, which we all believe allegedly he was responsible for, that changed everything in a split second because he couldn't take what was going on. He had an amazing life. And think about if that doesn't happen, how much his life becomes amazing in the second stage as there's more NFL. NFL is now the national pastime. He's O.J. Simpson. USC goes through that monstrous run. He's O.J. Simpson, the Trojan. I mean, it's hard to imagine how big he would have been had he just not done that, allegedly.
I mean, I think
31 years ago.
Yeah, I got hurt, but ain't trying to see Marsha Clark. Ice Cube lyric from 1996, West Side Connection. I remember hearing that for the first time and then being like, but I didn't know like Marsha Clark.
You're a kid.
Yeah, but so I just always thought, I was like, what's Marsha Clark? And then at some point I put it together.
Yeah, this is how crazy this was. And she's talked about this, and because she's pretty easy to find. She'll do interviews and stuff. She changed her hairstyle, and it was national news.
Yes.
She had straight hair, and then she had curly hair, and it dominated the news cycle for days. The prosecutor in this case had changed her haircut.
And being in LA radio at that time, because my dad was doing mornings on the station, how mad he was that KNX decided we're going to broadcast the trial. Like, we were so upset as a competitor that this station KNX was going to have huge numbers.
Purposes, you mean?
Yeah. Because we all lived and died by ratings back then.
Driving around listening to a court case on the radio. Yes. And a lot of it was dramatic, but a lot of it was just like procedural BS.
Well, now they've got you see like on Hulu, you've got like the Diddy.
Yeah.
And they have actors come in and basically do the highlights of the I clicked on it one time and I think I made it about 2 minutes.
And there's I've watched every documentary a million times, right? And, of course, we did OJ Made in America. On Tubi, there's a Harvey Levin documentary about OJ. And the reason why that's important is it's kind of Harvey Levin's angle. And Harvey Levin is a star because of OJ Simpson. He was on Channel 2 here locally.
Wait, which one
doing daily OJ reports on the news. And that's what really made his stardom locally, and that gave way to TMZ. It's on Tubi. And it's sort of his take on the whole thing, and it's really very well done.
Have you read Run of His Life by Jeffrey Toobin?
Yes.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It is an incredible recap of the whole thing. Supercross Talk is coming up next.
The biggest show on the radio.
Mason in Ireland is next at noon after Travis and DeMarco.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really rough team. I have no idea how Cappy ended up with a team. And by the way, I like every person individually on his team. They just aren't good at softball.
Do you not like somebody individually on your team?
Yeah, there's one person there, isn't there?
The OGs of LA Sports Talk.
Mason in Ireland on 710.
30 years ago, Wu-Tang Clan changed hip-hop forever. Now, it's time for the Final Chamber. Live in Los Angeles, Wu-Tang Clan, together, live on stage, the beginning of their final tour. Live this Sunday at Crypto.com Arena with Run the Jewels. Get tickets now at WuTangClan.com. Wu-Tang Forever, the Final Chamber. Produced by AEG Presents.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here again. Over the years, I've seen way too many timeshare exit companies pop up, take folks' money, and disappear. I just saw an ad from an exit company started by a couple of bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire bozos I'll fire. Want out of your timeshare? I'll send you our free timeshare exit info kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free kit. 800-653-1188. That's 800-653-1188.
Aloha! Dreaming of sandy beaches and ocean breezes? JTV's Tropical Treasure Sweepstakes could make that dream come true. Enter for your chance to win a fabulous Hawaiian getaway for two with luxury accommodations, airfare, and spending cash. Plus, just for entering, get $30 off your next qualifying JTV purchase of at least $99 when you opt in for emails. Don't miss out. Visit jtv.com/sweeps and enter by August 3rd. JTV, where paradise awaits.
Ready for a delicious escape? The New Islands Restaurant's $10 protein bowls are your ticket. Packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients. They're only here for a limited time, so enjoy one today. Visit islandsrestaurants.com.
Go! Oh well. Now your top reasons to visit Morongo.
Get a portable 9-band radio with flashlight when you earn 500 points on your rewards card. The 23rd.
Number 2.
Drew Baldridge, July 24th.
And the number 1 reason.
We're lighting up the sky at the Summer Bash. Celebrate the start of summer with a dazzling fireworks display. The 27th at 9 p.m.
Morongo, good times.
This is an ad by BetterHelp.
With over 35,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month of therapy at BetterHelp.com/timeout. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/timeout.
KSPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. It's time for Super Crosstalk.
This is kind of a deja vu moment for me, but in a weird way. When I first got hired here, you guys were all on the air. And this is the first time Trudell and I have ever done a show together.
Right.
And I remember coming in, and you guys were all on the air here. And I'm like, oh, this is kind
Thompson
of
and Trudell was on, and we came on after them?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then where did you fit into that?
We came in the morning.
In
Me and
the
Kelvin.
morning. Right,
Kelvin
you
and
and
I,
Kelvin.
like early morning.
Yeah.
5A to 7A. Like the very early morning shift. So
You've
this
worked
is full
everywhere
circle.
here.
Pretty much.
Yeah, everywhere here.
I've worked with a lot of people.
Mason and I have done every time slot.
Yeah,
We've done all 4.
The only one I have not done is in my career is overnights.
Overnights can be
That's how we started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like from
What time is
Well,
that?
we were 7 to
midnight to 6.
What we used to call the Mexican National Anthem
sorry,
pregame show.
Game show, yeah.
6 straight hours?
Yeah, midnight to
We
6
did-
is typically overnight.
No, we did 7 to midnight.
Yeah, 7
Oh, okay.
But 5 hours today, you never ask. Well, I did 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. in New York. I'm like, no, nobody is good for 5 hours.
That's
I don't
a
care.
lot
who
of
you are.
time
It's
talking.
too much.
Yeah,
Mike and the Mad Dog did 2 to 7 for a lot of years.
Yeah,
Wow.
but I think that. Yeah, I think the business has evolved a little bit. You rarely see somebody doing more than
Would they
3
like
hours.
And you
repeat
rarely
segments
see
and
somebody
stuff
by
on that though?
themselves.
Like if you did 2 to 7, would they like do replay an interview that they did?
Yeah,
in
we
the-
used to do that.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit, but
We
still,
do fast track for an hour and a half. It was
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's where sports graffiti started.
Yeah,
We the last half
Just
hour
say,
of the
"Give me a
show with
segment.
sports
Anybody,
graffiti.
give me a segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were talking about OJ in the dump, and you said, May, something that I'm the same way. If there's a TV show, a documentary, a book, I'm in.
Yeah.
And it's 31 years ago that this whole thing kind of started.
Why? I'm the same way. Why do you think that is?
Because it's still shocking. It's still one of those things that... even
Like
though
a guy who had everything, threw it all away kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
And a guy that was universally liked by kind of everybody turns out to have been a real monster that was kind of hiding in public.
Yep.
And it just, the whole thing, even 31 years after it happened is compelling.
So the weird thing about that chase was that I was not in town. I was in New York doing a show for CBS called The Gil Gross Show, which was on, across the country. And so it was happening while I was on the national radio show, and they're driving like through my neighborhood for all intents and purposes. I lived in Westwood at that point.
Okay.
So I knew this, but I was describing it for that crowd, for that audience as an Angelino while it was going on. I just remember it as clear as day.
My grandmother lives, as the crow flies, less than a mile from OJ's old
Rockingham.
place.
Really?
Yeah. And it was a surreal experience for a million different reasons.
Yeah.
But the fact that, like, that's kind of where I grew up as a kid. Like, we were over there a lot, and knowing where he was kind of winding through it just made it even more bizarre.
All right, so you guys are all pretty familiar with Brentwood. It's a spectacular neighborhood with high rent, and a lot of people want to live there. If I told you I can get you Nicole Brown Simpson's old apartment at a ridiculous discount, but that's where the murder happened, would you take the deal?
It's been 31 years.
And it looks a lot different.
It looks a lot different.
Oh, like OJ's house, the Rockingham house has been completely torn down, rebuilt, and they blocked the street. You can't go both ways on the street anymore, and people still drive by.
Now, they redid the Nicole Brown Simpson condo, but
How are the
still know
public
what's
schools?
there.
How are the public schools?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
I think I could do it.
I'm not like into ghouls and ghosts and those. I don't think I could do that one. That was so grisly and so
What about just
upsetting.
death in general?
Could you live at the Rockingham house?
The new one.
Yeah,
not the old.
Or
the
old one.
Brand
Either
new
one.
Yeah, because the crime didn't happen there.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus,
so,
it's much nicer.
and it's on the other side of Sunset.
So I remember this, that when the verdict came down, I was at a friend of mine's house, and my friend is a white guy who is married to a black woman who I was pretty good friends with. And when the verdict came down, we were all stunned. We thought, there's no way he's getting away with it. She, and again, I'm good friends with her, was jumping up and down with joy. And that's when I realized this story is not about the murder. This is broken completely on racial lines. And Johnny Cochran was brilliant.
Yeah.
He went and, he's no longer alive. Either is OJ. A lot of those guys are gone. Yeah. Robert Kardashian's gone.
Carl Edwards is one of the few guys on the defense team that's still around.
All right.
Yeah. And Joe McDonald used to bring Carl Edwards on his show.
We used to put him on the morning show with me and Key and LZ.
Yeah.
Really?
And he was
great
good.
Radio guy.
Yeah.
He's terrific.
But, you remember in The People versus OJ, you see that Johnny Cochran, and I'm trying to remember who played Johnny Cochran.
Courtney Vance.
He was great.
Vance,
he was great. And he's the one married to Angela Bassett.
Yep.
So he said, all right, you get me a half-black jury, and I'll win this thing. And everything he did after that, like he went back through OJ's house, and OJ's house was filled with pictures of OJ with white people. He went and changed it all to African-American artwork. And so when the black jurors went in there, they all went, oh, he's similar to me. He's got a similar situation. And when the verdict came down, I was like, I still am stunned by it. I don't know how.
I think that's part of it.
The only way to understand it is really the People versus OJ. I'm sorry,
Made in America.
The Made in America. Made in America puts the whole thing into a historical context.
It makes something that didn't make sense make more sense.
Yes.
Michael just walked in, as if we don't have enough people. You want to weigh in on this subject?
What are you talking about?
OJ?
31 years ago today, the OJ chase.
Oh, yeah, I kind of...
You can sit in that chair if you want.
Okay. But, the sad thing about his death was he went to his grave not knowing who the killer was.
Oh, that is
that the sad part?
Yeah.
That is
the
so
sad. He looked
sad.
and he looked and he searched and he just could not find it.
He looked at golf courses, Travis, all over this country.
Strip joints and golf courses, high and low.
Yeah, well, the killer sooner or later had to show up in one
Maybe
of
they
those
crossed
places.
paths and
Exactly.
Do you guys know what else happened?
Glove didn't fit.
Well, many things happened on this date. This is a very famous sports day. But 15 years ago today, Lakers-Celtics Game 7.
Was that the game that Artest hit that shot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael, what do you remember about that game more than anything else?
Kobe 6 for 24.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, nobody hit a shot.
He
not
was
just
trying
Kobe.
83-79, the final score.
Kobe had 15 rebounds.
Right?
Yeah. In a Game 7.
You could see it. Game 7, Kobe was so tense, he just couldn't relax. He wanted it so bad. And if he would have lost that Game 7, that would have haunted him forever.
And I think, Mike, look this up. I think Pau Gasol had 19 rebounds in that game.
Yeah, well, and Kobe had 15.
Am I right about Gasol?
Kobe had 15. Pau had 18.
Because there were so many missed shots.
We talk about the Kobe.
How many points did
a
Gasol
lot of opportunities.
have?
It was like
19.
Angel Reese.
So Gasol went 19 and 18 and kind of saved him.
Yeah, as a team, right? The Lakers shot 33%. but look, Boston. Ray Allen shot 3 for 14. Right, and Paul Pierce shot 5 for 15. So the only person that really hit any shots was KG. It was 8 for 13. But that was
Michael. Is that just nerves? Is that just Game 7 nerves?
You wanted it so bad. Kobe wanted it so bad.
Not nerves. They were physically like the amount of defense and pressure, which you can think of like watching OKC and Indy right now. Yeah. The intensity on the court, Michael, was insane, and you couldn't move without getting grabbed by somebody.
Yeah. All right, I did not see this with my own eyes.
83-79 final score.
Yeah, but I've talked to two people who were there that said after that game, Ron Artest, he did the Kobe pass me the ball press conference, put me on a box of Wheaties. He was so excited. Then he went back into the locker room, didn't take a shower, was in his uniform, got his family, walked across the street to Katsuya, and ate dinner in his uniform.
That sounds.
Can you imagine walking into a restaurant
after having won?
It's like the time Joel Embiid went to a bar in his Embiid jersey.
Sure. Well, those are the guys that would do that.
We were speaking about just kind of crazy atmospheres. That was one of the ones that I was at that I don't know will ever be topped. Maybe Kobe's finale.
That was crazy.
You were there last night for
Shohei.
It
was for a baseball game that had no stakes as far as like the result of the game.
Right.
I've never been in an environment that was buzzing like that.
And in a World Series game?
No, that had no stakes.
Oh, okay.
For a game that had no stakes, and it
felt like a playoff game.
It was incredible.
So I got a text from a friend after the game last night. Said it was very, very quiet when he was pitching.
It was.
Everything got it was almost like a golf tournament.
After he put the first two guys on and Machado came up, where you think, God, Ireland might have been right. He's going to get lit up.
I did. He wasn't throwing enough strikes to get lit up. He was kind of all
Less
over
than
the
half
place.
Of his pitches were strikes.
Why did he only pitch one inning?
They are only going to have to throw about 30 pitches.
See, the problem is he can't go do a rehab start because then they lose his bat. So he's got to rehab as he goes along.
Yeah.
How long they can keep him to 1 inning games?
I bet you he's likely to pitch on Saturday against the Nats again, and he'll likely pitch more than 1 inning.
Yeah, I mean they're going to stretch him out
slowly.
If they could send him down, he could round into 4 more quickly.
He had a double, a single, a walk, and drove in 2 runs last night. He's your best offensive player, but it was weird. It was quiet last pitch. Everybody's looking through their phone. Everybody's waiting for the strikeout so they can have that release of
shoot
emotion
on their phone.
And so he gets out of the inning. It was a mixed bag. It was mostly fine. So he comes up to bat. He ultimately strikes out in his first at bat, and it was. The whole ballpark kind of exhaled collectively.
Had the same exhaustive sigh.
And as Mookie comes up, it's got to be the first time in his life everybody was not paying attention to a Mookie Betts at
They
bat.
did the Lulu Opatai sigh?
It was really bizarre. It was fun, though.
Yeah,
it was
Joe
terrific.
Davis did a good job of this. You don't think about this until I actually saw it with my own eyes, but there he was pitching. Got out of the inning and immediately stepping to the plate.
Yeah.
Never went in the dugout.
Never went in the dugout. It's just give me my
now,
stuff.
by the way,
roll.
Mace has been arguing that Ohtani should hit second just so he can get more RBIs.
Yes.
This is an instance where I'll meet you in the middle. On days that he pitches, I think he should bat
to
second.
catch his breath
just so he can go into the dugout,
collect himself,
and then do it that way.
Michael, my dad, he told me that Willie Mays was the best baseball player ever, so I grew up thinking that. But it's like my kids are asking me, and I'm like, well, how do you not say Shohei?
He's the best.
I mean,
I read an article today. Statistically, he's better than Willie Mays at this point in their careers.
Mm-hmm. And Willie Mays didn't pitch.
That's
and he
not
didn't
fair.
pitch.
Willie Mays had to hit the 1,200-foot fence and candlestick with the wind blowing in.
Yeah,
right.
And on
but he also didn't have to pitch.
They say Willie played like in Boston or someplace or Yankee Stadium. He had like 700 or 800 home runs.
By the way, my dad says, my late dad says that Willie Mays is the greatest player ever.
That's what Vince
that
Scully
he ever
said.
saw. Yeah,
Chick Hearn told me Elgin Baylor's the greatest player he ever saw, and Chick saw Michael Jordan.
We had Oral on earlier, and I asked him. I said, last year we got to see Shohei exclusively as an offensive player. We know what it looks like. It's 50-50, something that had never been done before, and it was as good as you could possibly hope for. What would a season that's just pitching look like? And he said some combination of Roger Clemens and Greg Maddux. That's what we're talking. And it's both of those things.
But would he win 20 games?
He said he would.
He said he could.
He said he would.
But nobody does anymore.
If that were the goal,
if that was the metric
yeah.
that was valuable now, that he would do that. He would have an ERA of under 2.5.
250
so
ERA.
you're telling me if Steve Carlton and Bob Gibson and those guys, Juan Marichal, are pitching today, they wouldn't pitch every fourth game?
He was
every fourth
saying
day?
that they wouldn't even train like that. That's not the ask anymore.
Really?
It's just a totally different ask.
Well, Michael, who's the best pitcher in baseball right now? Who do you think is the best?
Right now?
Sandy Alcantara. Who?
Skeens.
All right.
Skeens.
So Paul
Balls right
Skeens.
there.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens does. I mean, I think he has a few, but he doesn't even pitch
But I'm
complete
talking
games.
about the mentality of Gibson and those guys.
That their mentality would have been informed by different.
Well,
sure.
That's like saying, Kobe, you're gonna have load management or Jordan.
No,
They
but
wouldn't
Michael,
do it.
that was not the
Well,
era.
so
of
Michael,
load management.
They wouldn't do it.
Wilt never came out of the game when he played.
Right.
One year he averaged 48.1 minutes because he played in every game
Overtimes.
and in every overtime. Now they wouldn't let him.
But wait a minute. Mikal Bridges hasn't missed a game. Why doesn't he say, you know what, I'm taking a load, or he lets them do his load management?
No,
He
but
says,
Mikal
I'm
Bridges
playing.
has never played a 48-minute game. I mean, Wilt did it
Nobody
every
did.
night.
Not even AC Green.
Right.
Wilt did it every night.
Yeah, that's true.
They wouldn't let him do it now.
But you understand that they are doing what they are asked to do,
And
and in
being
this
trained to
particular
do.
case, this is what they train
Really?
to do. Exactly.
Oral just said, so they used to have 10 pitchers on the roster, right? Now
They
they
got
have
13.
13,
and
yeah.
you've got 4 guys in the bullpen that all throw 100.
I
So
still
it's just
believe-
different. They didn't used to have that.
Maybe 5 or
I
6.
just believe the mentality of Gibson, those guys of that era wouldn't say, I'm not even going to pitch once every 6 or 7 days.
But the mentality is something that you're taught, that you're drilled into. And by the time Bob Gibson was 16 or 17 or 18, he would have been trained differently. When he was coming through, it's you got to pitch 8 or 9 innings. You got to finish your whole game. It's just they're asking a different ask.
Yeah.
Like Skeens, if Skeens pitched in the 70s and 80s, he'd be like
so
that.
wait a minute. So if Kobe was 16 today, coming along, Kobe would accept playing 65 games a year?
Yes.
No way.
No.
You think that?
No.
No flipping way.
No. I mean, there's Bridges played all 82 again this year. Kobe would have been one of those guys.
I think that those guys, and maybe Kobe would be an exception to this, but we're going to try to win the championship. We're going to try to be as healthy as possible at the end of the year. And the way that you can be the healthiest is to be more conscious of how much stress you're putting on your body. And I think that's hammered into you from an early.
Anthony Edwards ain't built that way. Anthony Edwards wants to play every game.
We'll see. We'll see when he's 30 instead of, 23?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's a way to go. That's super crosstalk, John. You did it with 5 people. You survived.
Yeah, but all day, now we've got Pepe, Michael, and Morales in here. I am quietly going to Irish goodbye this show in about 40 minutes. I will be gone.
Well, you got against Pepe.
I'm going to try.
Good luck with that.
We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Mike.
You never have to miss a moment of LA's mega sports station. Get the all-new ESPN